has compact districts. It's done in a way that makes a lot of sense. And the reality is if you look at like California, they're doing all this dog and pony show there now, saying, oh, Texas, we've got to combat Texas. California is one of the worst gerrymandered maps there is. What they did, this is how they do. They're like, no, we're going to do an independent commission. So they do a commission. The problem is, it's like if you truly were independent, it's like you would be immune to any type of partisan pressures. But that commission is comprised of liberal Democrats, liberal independents, and very liberal Republicans. I think one of the Republicans is from Berkeley, like not exactly a hotbed of Reagan conservatism. It is what it is. So they hotwired that independent commission to produce a map that was very much gerrymandered and was not something that was fair to Republicans, even at that time. Now they're saying they want to do even more by doing whatever they're talking about doing now. So don't buy this notion that if someone has a commission, that somehow means it is immune from this type of partisan pressures. The California one was a left-wing commission. That's just the reality. That's what they produced. That's what they were supposed to do based on who appointed those folks to that commission. And so I just think it's better to just have the legislature do it. And if you don't like it, you can vote them out. You put some commission in, like California, and then stack it. If you don't like that as a voter, those people will never appear on your ballot. But that's exactly what they did there. And they've done it in other states as well. And then Illinois, if you look at Illinois, so Illinois, like if Chicago wasn't in Illinois, it would be a red state. There's some dots blue, but like most of it is red outside of Illinois. So if you drew compact districts, you'd have probably 6 in the Chicago that would be like 90-10 Dem, right? But then all the other ones would probably be Republican districts, and they didn't want that. So what they do is they go into the city of Chicago, they find enough Dems, and they draw a map.
Great trip, huge celebration of the partnership that exists today thanks to President Trump between Venezuela and the United States. Look, President Trump is a man of action. He wants to see progress. He wants to see action take place. And you saw action and progress in 3 important sectors. Transportation, the first daily flights back from the U.S. to Venezuela. Energy, oil and gas. You saw 3 independent oil and gas companies, new entrants, signing deals with Venezuela. And on mining, you saw a huge landmark mining deal, the first of its kind for gold, for coal into Venezuela. All of these are showing the tremendous progress in just a short period of time between the U.S. and Venezuela. That's exactly the kind of message we want to send to the world, that relationship is strong, that now you have flights going down there, so it's now employees, it's people interested in investing, it's people interested in being down there and seeing their family members coming down to Venezuela. There was a huge party in Miami of people interested in wanting to go down. And then even on top of that, American Airlines, on the very day of the first flight, they came out and announced they're going to do two trips a day now down to Venezuela. So the progress is happening at Trump speed. This would have taken months, if not years, to get to this point, and we're seeing it in a matter of weeks. That's Trump speed. That's the kind of stuff we're doing on our side, and you're seeing the same on the Venezuelan side.
Central Command says U.S. forces in the waters off of Iran have now been working to restore safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. They are implementing the humanitarian project, which President Trump has now called Project Freedom. He announced it yesterday. CENTCOM posted this today. As a first step, 2 U.S.-flagged merchant vessels have successfully transited through the Strait of Hormuz and are safely headed on their journey. Iran state-run media this morning claimed the Revolutionary Guard hit a U.S. warship with 2 missiles. CENTCOM said, no, that did not happen. Iran then said it had fired warning shots. Meanwhile, back to the truth, the defense ministry of the UAE says Iran did shoot down, or it had to shoot down 3 missiles offshore as a 4th splashed into the water. We understand those may have come from Iran. Brian Yenis is live for us in Tel Aviv, Israel, with the latest. So, Brian, some breaking news last hour, a lot going on where you are today.
No doubt about it, Harris. And so for the first time since this U.S.-Iran ceasefire was brokered 4 weeks ago, Iran is actually initiating attacks right now. We know that the United Arab Emirates missile defense system is activated. 4 missiles were fired from Iran to the UAE. 3 were shot out of the air, intercepted over the sea. The 4th fell into the water. We also know that Iran has launched drones against the United Arab Emirates, one hitting an oil facility in Fajora, sparking a fire there. 2 other Iranian drones hit an empty oil tanker as it made its way through the Strait of Hormuz. And at this hour, right now, actually, CENTCOM Navy Admiral Brad Cooper is updating reporters on Project Freedom, the humanitarian effort right now to safely guide an estimated 800 cargo ships and tankers and 20,000 crew members out of the strait. Admiral Cooper says that CENTCOM has defeated multiple Iranian ballistic missile launches, drones, and has sunk 6 Iranian small boats this morning. CENTCOM is strongly advising Iranian forces to stay away as it guides ships through what the U.S. is calling an enhanced security area along.
Would you say to the American consumer that help is on the way? You have it in mind.
Help is on the way as of today. The way to think about it is the market, because of the conflict around the strait, is in deficit about 10 million barrels a day, between 8 and 10 million barrels a day right now. So every crude carrier that goes through has about 2 million barrels. So 4 or 5 crude carriers a day coming through of the pent-up demand. We think there are more than 150, 200 crude carriers that can come out. So I think the market's going to be very well supplied. The other thing, too, is I am confident on the other side of this, the world's going to be awash in oil. That the UAE has come out of OPEC. They're going to be pumping more. OPEC just announced that they're going to be pumping more. And the U.S. has record crude deliveries. We are the #1 energy superpower in the world, and we have never delivered so much crude.
I think the claims that millionaires are going to leave our state are like super overblown, and if the ones that leave, like, bye.
Meanwhile,
Well, I always tell people, because I'll be like, oh man, you Florida, you guys, you did this, you did that, man, how we want other states to be like you. How'd you do it? And look, we've done a lot. We've led on a lot, and I'm proud of that. But, I also have a cheat code here. All I got to do is look to New York, Illinois, California, Washington State, and then just do the opposite of what they're doing. And that works out very, very well.
Oh, I love my governor. Oh, my gosh. And another time, if President Trump wasn't running, I think he would have made a great president. But right now, it's Trump's term. I think there's time for Ron DeSantis to do something. So just want to let you know, hey, thank you guys for tuning in on a Monday. And thank you again for if you tuned in last night. We had a really, really good show. In fact, so good, we finished like number 6 or so in the rankings over some big names. Even we destroyed Alex Jones and some people. So I was like, wow, thank you very much. So I know we're over the target. I know there are a lot of people pissed off. I know that the mods are just constantly having to, play whack-a-mole with people. And today won't be any different, especially since we're talking money. Just so you get ready, it's going to be king money. President Trump is hosting a small business summit today, so I'm sure he's going to be talking about enhancing business. So that always seems to piss people off. I don't know why, but it does. But one of the things I realized last night, even though it may hurt some people's feelings, they got some tender feelings, some very, very sensitive nipples. I gotta talk real. I there's no other way I can talk. I have to talk based upon what I see, what I know, what I glean, who I talk to, my own personal experiences, because I cannot pretend what's going on here. It's almost to the point where I can't even spend much time on X, because all that X is, just to let you know, X has become a petri dish for propaganda, just to try and attract so many people who just want to believe something that's not true. And so I'm going to begin focusing. I guess this is my midterm shift. My midterm shift meaning, okay, let's start talking about real stuff, talking with real people. Let's start analyzing things and leave all the hysteria and manic depressive crap to the people on X. If you've noticed, everything, and I do mean, well, no, I'm wrong. Just about everything is gas prices. The other thing is racism. And that's it. That if you went on X right now, it's going to be gas prices, gas prices, gas prices, Jim Crow, Jim Crow, Jim Crow, racism. And then they also probably cross. It's racist that the gas prices are high. I don't know. But I do know I'm over it. I am completely over it. I'm not going to rehash what I said last night about the Miami Grand Prix and the Kentucky Derby. And even somebody emailed me, said NASCAR was packed as well. If you're not at this point prepared to do what you can do to live your life, there's not much information I can give you. Thinking forward, understanding the big bet right here that the Democrats are making is that things won't change. And if they do change, people won't remember that they changed. Because they've pushed all in at this point on the gas prices, albeit in April and early May. They pushed all in on gas prices. What happens when, not if, what happens when gas prices return to normal? They've got nothing to say. I mean, they'll go to the next thing because they have to, but we've seen it over and over. Just think back. Eggs. Oh my God, eggs were the worst thing ever. I can't buy any eggs. We're all starving. Then they had to shut up. And people just move on to the next thing. You have to put yourself in a position to weather the storm. Yes, it's a storm. It's not a climate change. There's a storm that's been brewed upon us, and it'll move forward. It'll go off into the ocean and go away. You just need to understand what you need to do, your personal life, to weather it. Some of us, it's not even much to weather. But in any event, X, if you go in there and you follow the wrong people, you are going to be poisoned, absolutely poisoned. Let me give you an example. Early this morning, I can't tell you how many posts I saw, even with video showing Iranians blowing up American boats. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. This is absolutely nuts. It didn't happen. But there are a lot of stupid people out there. And a lot of people who want to hope that it's real because they hate America. There's so much misinformation that it's very hard for people to discern at this point. There are very few, what would I say, advocates for truth. And you really have to spend the time, which most people don't have, is that they're going through tweets like this really fast, and they don't know what's true and what's not true. It's so bad that the Central Command had to take time and post and say, nope, they didn't blow up anything. Nope, seen the videos, it's fake. Then what do? They try to pit people against each other. Well, we can't really believe what comes out of the Trump administration. So you're going to believe what comes out of the Iranian administration or whatever is left of it. That's your two choices. You either believe the people who are fighting for America, or you believe in the people who hate America and want to see us all dead. If those are my two choices, it's a very easy choice. There is no choice. Why would I ever want to believe people who want me dead, who want my country dead? And then the whole thing about Spirit Airlines. SB and I talked about that yesterday. It's unfortunate. It didn't work out for them. But you know what? Businesses fail. They can go under. Most airlines are having a hard time even making a profit. I would not have advocated for a bailout. I didn't mind a loan guarantee, which is different than a bailout. The loan guarantee means they got to do certain things. They can get a loan from somebody else. They can stay solvent. But in any event, I don't care whose fault it is. I don't care who believes what was the problem. I don't care if it's Liz Warren. I don't care if it's gas prices. What I care about is that our government, and I'm talking about the Democrats here, are so busy pointing fingers instead of saying, this is what we're going to do for these people. 15, 16, 17,000 people as of today are completely out of work. They're done. I didn't hear any Democrat say, well, here's what we need to do for these people. No, because they don't care. You know, Spirit Airlines, for whatever it was, allowed a lot of people who ordinarily wouldn't have the opportunity to fly to go someplace. Yes, it was cheap. Yes, it was a hassle. Yes, sometimes you'd go there and see like a circus happen and be a big fight, and you could just take your camera and look at the natives go crazy. It was entertainment before you got on the flight. There was often entertainment on the flight. But nonetheless, it allowed people who ordinarily couldn't afford to go on another airline to go someplace. Now, that's not an option anymore. Now the market, not the airline, now the market shall set the price. And what is that going to do? That is going to preclude a lot of people from getting on airplanes and going where they need to go. It's not going to hurt me. May not hurt you. Ashley's flying back from Iceland today. Not going to hurt her. Who's it going to hurt? It's going to hurt the people who needed Spirit Airlines, the people who need discount airfare, the people who didn't have any alternative. I need to get on this flight for $39 or $49 and whatever else I get charged for my bag about the bomb. But whatever it was, it allowed these people to fly who didn't ordinarily have the opportunity to fly. Some of you may say, good, get those people out of the airport. We don't have to deal with this crap anymore. I don't want to see people showing up in pajamas getting on a plane. A plane used to be a luxury. I remember it way back when I was in high school and I got my recruiting trip to fly out to Notre Dame. And when I flew out there, I come walking down the stairs, and back then, I come walking down the stairs and greeting my dad who flew out there with me, and I got a T-shirt on and a pair of jeans. He's like, where are you going? Getting ready to go to Notre Dame. Not looking like that, you ain't. What do you mean? You're telling me you put on a coat and tie every single day to go to school, which I had to, but now you're heading out to a college to talk to a coach who's asking you to come out and visit him, and you got on I'm like, I'm not going to the coach's office like that. No, you're going to be sitting next to me, which is worse. Get upstairs and go change your clothes. You see, flying was an experience. Flying was not just getting to a destination. It was all about the opportunity, the experience of going someplace and being in an environment that you don't ordinarily get into. It's gone. Maybe somebody will pick it up. Maybe someone will step in and buy a low budget airline. Not sure. It's not profitable. But the bottom line with it is, doesn't matter how come they failed. They're done. And so there's a whole lot of people now who can't fly. Let me know if you've seen anybody talking about, what are we going to do for people who want to go on, summer vacation? What are we going to do about people who can't afford a lot, a luxury flight? What are they going to do for Thanksgiving? What are they going to do for Christmas? What are they going to do for Memorial Day? What are they going to do for July 4th? Nobody's talking about that. It doesn't matter to them. They won. They stopped progress. They stopped people from being mobile. They stopped people from being able to go where they want to go. That's been their design the whole time. This whole thing with gas prices, you have to realize it's a faux argument. They don't want you driving. They haven't wanted you driving for quite some time. Oh my gosh, climate change. And now they got the perfect opportunity by telling you, oh, gas is way too high. You can't drive. Oh my gosh, you can't afford it. Oh, you're going to have to stay your ass home, which is what they really want. They win if you whine. They win if you succumb. They win if you buy into the insanity. Don't you realize that? Americans are supposed to aspire to rise above things, to look at challenges and say, I know how I can do this because I want to do this, and I don't have people in my own government saying, you can't afford it. You're not worthy. You can't fly. Your gas prices are too high. It just sucks. Sorry for you. You shouldn't be flying anyway, and you shouldn't be driving a car. You will own nothing and be happy. You have to look behind the facade. You know, there's a song, because I like to listen to my rock music, a song by Queensryche. And the song is Eyes of a Stranger. And it's all, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but basically there's a part in the song where, you know, everybody wants to know what lies behind the stare. And at that point, as you're watching these politicians, you have to wonder what goes on behind the stare, because it doesn't affect them. Some of them are flying private, many of them. None of them are going to have to cancel their trips this weekend, not a single one. So why is it that they were happy and blaming Trump when you can't fly? Instead of saying, we got to find a way to keep this alive, not just so people can fly, but we can keep 17,000 people working. Nothing. Nothing. You have to look at what's behind the stare and understand these people aren't looking out for your best interest. They're not looking out for your best interest at all. When I decided to do today's show and I did my research, and one of the things I said is that we are winning. We are winning, except on X and Facebook, and of course, probably TikTok. I'm not saying we're losing, but it's murky. And they are doing everything they can to steal your mind. And I don't mean steal it in terms of S-T-E-E-L. I mean S-T-E-A-L. I wish people were trying to steal your mind. S-T-E-E-L. That's what President Trump is trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you steal S-T-E-E-L and be ready for what lies ahead, to understand what lies behind the stare of these people. Excuse me. And too many people are succumbing to it. Too many people are being too weak. And I'm not going to point anybody out. That's not what I'm here for. But you know who you are. You know whether or not you are stealing yourself for what's may come and what good may come, or are you succumbing right now? Are you in a position where you just need to bitch and whine? That ain't gonna make it. If you think it's bad now, what I'm going to show you today is going to show you it's about to get a whole lot worse for people who aren't strong enough. That's what's going to happen. So anyway, President Trump is due up at 3 o'clock or so. I got a whole bunch of stuff to show you. Before I begin, let me show you some of the stuff he has put out this morning. Before I do that, I want you to hear this. This is very interesting. Listen to this.
John, your phone rang early this morning?
Yeah, my phone rang shortly after 7 a.m. My landline, George, actually a number that few people call, and it was President Trump calling. He said at first he was calling to see if I was okay with what happened last night. Are you okay? And then he reiterated many of the things he said in his press conference last night, emphasizing the unity that he felt in that moment, that he felt at the dinner before the shooting and certainly after with the people who reached out to him. And he said absolutely, and he was quite firm about this, that dinner must be rescheduled. It must be rescheduled. He knows that I was a former president of the White House Correspondents Association and had worked with him on a dinner that never actually happened back during COVID. And he was saying, we've got to get this dinner back on. It has to happen.
So that happened the day after the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Except it never happened. That man got on television, looked in the camera, and completely lied to every person watching that show. And somehow it's filtered back to President Trump, because I doubt he was watching ABC News, and he posted this. He says, Jonathan Karl, who's the gentleman you just heard, of ABC Fake News, made a statement that I called him early in the morning the day after the assassination attempt to ask whether or not he was okay. Yeah, I called to see if he was okay. Okay, great. No, this was a hit on me, not him. And I didn't even make such a call. Why would I do that? He called me, but I didn't take his call. He just confirmed to me that when he called again, I would say that's very dishonest reporting. He's trying to make himself look important, but I'm not surprised because it comes from ABC Fake News. You can't believe anything. These people are such liars. And you get called out by the President of the United States yet again, ABC. Like, why the hell would I call and say, are you okay? They weren't trying to shoot you, moron. I don't even know where you were sitting in the room. I don't even know if you were in the room. And you think the President of the United States said, hey, let me call John from ABC News. Hey, John, how you doing? Yeah. Are you okay? When I heard that the first time, I thought, that's odd, but there was no rebuttal, so I just let it go. Like, wow, so the president, the day after someone tried to kill him with his wife in attendance, he made a call to ABC News to ask the guy at ABC News, you doing all right, man? Unreal. That's just a small taste of things that have been going on television and on X to let you know they're all full of crap. There are very, very few people that you can actually trust are giving you the square deal. I mean, one of the guys obviously I like is Victor Davis Hanson. I think he's a straight shooter. You got to find your straight shooters few and far between. I think Jonathan Turley is a straight shooter for the most part. Straight shooter meaning tell me the truth, and if you're going to give me an opinion, give me a slash and go, I'm going to opine here. But for the most part, there are very, very few people who will tell you, this is it. Now I'm going to go tell you about my opinion. And that way you can go, okay, I understand the actual factual nature of what you're saying, but you know what? I don't really give a crap about your opinion. You're here with me, so hopefully you care about my opinion. All right, so next, President Trump posted this. Real deal news here. Iran has taken some shots at unrelated nations with respect to the ship movement, Project Freedom, including a South Korean cargo ship. Perhaps it's time for South Korea to come and join the mission. We've shot down 7 small boats, or as they like to call them, fast boats. It's all they have left. Other than the South Korean ship, there has been at this moment no damage going through the strait. You know, you wouldn't believe it if you saw it on different places on news. There has been at this point no damage going through the strait. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Daniel Kaine will have a news conference. Oh boy, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. They always do it at 8 o'clock. Thank you for attention to this matter, President Trump. All right, so now he wants South Korea to get involved, which is very interesting. And then he came back with this one. This is a good one. When a devastated, he was crying like a baby. When a devastated Van Jones of CNN came to me with a group of African American leaders, he had he had dead in getting criminal justice reform approved in Congress. Van Jones and these black reps had been unsuccessfully fighting to get reform for many years. He was just wasting everyone's time. He needed 5 conservative senators. There was no chance or even hope for a win. I liked some of the people he was with, agreed with what they were saying, and quickly rounded up the votes to get criminal justice reform approved. You remember that? I think, what's her name? I think Kim Kardashian was even involved in that. It was not easy. Nobody else, including Obama, who tried for years, could have done this. Now I watch this guy, Van Jones. Hold on, let me scroll down so you can see it. Now I watch this guy, Van Jones, every chance he gets calling me a dictator and far worse. He should have been ashamed of himself. You see, so Van Jones, just like all the other media people, they go with the flow. They do what they're supposed to do. They attack who they need to attack, but they don't think anybody's going to remember you went crawling to the president when you wanted something. This president, President Trump. And he just likes to remind people, yep, I did that. And then one more I want to show you, which is very important. Terminate the filibuster and win. Bingo. We got to do that. Got to happen. Absolutely got to happen. And so it's 3 o'clock. He is not up, but I timed it perfectly. So waiting to see if he comes on at 3 o'clock. Let me hit up SV and see if he's got anything. SV, you got fans, man. I keep seeing stuff on Twitter where people like, we love having SV on the show. I'm like, all right.
Well, it's funny. Somebody, Severno bounced somebody at Rumble. I didn't see it because I was doing something else, but it said, apparently the troller said that I was spreading propaganda, that I'm a propagandist puppet. That's awesome, man. That means I'm over the target. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Seriously over the target. I mean, it's funny. Before I turned on the feed, there were already a bunch of downvotes, a bunch of negative votes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't said anything yet. So
those are all the people I banned.
Yeah, as soon as they see the notification, they're sitting there going, he sucks, he sucks, he sucks, before it even starts. That just tells you something too. Impulsive biatches.
All right. Well, I got a few things. We got a couple minutes. The first one, are you following Spencer Pratt? He's trying to become the mayor in LA. Yeah. I love a lot of his social media. He's doing a lot of AI stuff. But you were talking about lies and gaslighting. So apparently he says that Karen Bastard, I'm making my own names up, and Nithya Ramen Noodles are secretly working together to block me in the primary. Enough of the corrupt fake politicians, enough of the games. Vote Prot today. Then he has another post where he basically shows the homelessness in LA. And at the bottom, there's a New York Post 4 hours ago that Kamala Harris endorses Karen Bass for LA mayor, claiming she stamped out crime and homelessness. That's all they do. They lie and gaslight. That's all they do. It's all lies.
They hope you don't know any better. I mean, if you get off a plane and walk around LA, it's all right there. People, they don't want to show people. You got to look at this area. I keep telling people, what's the name of this area? There's an area in Pennsylvania where all the drug zombies just hang out. Kensington.
Oh, yeah, it's the Kensington Station. Yeah, they walk around like Walking Dead. Yeah.
And you think of it, this is an American city, and it looks like a Hollywood movie set with like drugged out zombies walking around. And the media won't even talk about it. And like, who was just talking? My intro, DeSantis, he goes, what they've done is that these core blue cities like Chicago have done it so that the entire rest of the state has to go with what they want. Where, same thing in New York. If you've ever been up to Schenectady and different places up that way in the Catskills, they want nothing to do with what Mandami is doing. But because it's New York City, they get all the publicity. By the way, did you see the scumbag? I posted it on X. A reporter asked, oh my gosh, Mandami, what do you think about Rudy Giuliani, who, basically brought New York back from 9/11? Well, I hope his family's looking after him. I'm like, he wouldn't even,
he doesn't care.
No, he wouldn't get nowhere near talking about 9/11. Didn't want to have
Those were
anything
crocodile
to
tears. He can care less.
do.
He's
Not at
he's
all.
scum. He's scum. Speaking of scum, you know how I keep following all the fraud. So Dr. Oz, he's not scum, but he just revealed that $100 billion in fraud in Medicare and Medicaid alone. He says once that's eliminated,
Wait.
wait.
Wasn't that just in one city?
Yeah, and it's spreading. He says it will double the life expectancy of the Medicare trust fund. So he says this is now becoming rampant. It's like the elephant's trunk. It's more is coming. The fraud. I mean, California, I think it's going to be in the trillions of dollars. I mean, that fictitious bullet train, there was 100 feet of concrete and he spent what? I think I heard 126 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, they just want to spend our money. So I wish Trump could just stop giving them the money so everything dries up. Then I don't know. That's one thing they could do, right? To stop giving them federal money.
I was listening to Harmeet Dillon today. She was on the Glenn Beck show. Maybe I can get a clip of that and show it to you guys. But she was on Glenn Beck, and he was asking her, we're going to see accountability, but what are we going to do? And she said something very interesting that I think a lot of people don't understand. She said, in order for us to arrest and go after the people who have committed some of these problems, you don't know how bad we've had to fight internally. How many people, how many different people, layers of deep state employees have been embedded that are pushing this away or delete a file on it. She goes, we've had warfare internally. And I'm like, I don't think people realize that they've got these entrenched career politicians who have been doing whatever they need, and they are working as hard as everybody else to hide the grift because they probably get a piece of it. And then today, I don't know if you saw this, it just came out. I think Eric Doherty or Nick put it up that the guy who tried to kill President Trump.
Oh, yeah.
The judge apologized for his conditions in the holding cell.
Why are we coddling criminals? Why are we coddling them? What the hell? Make it make sense, man. It's just it's emboldening these criminals. They realize I'm going to get out.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's insane. Absolutely insane. All right, so
Holy
you got
crap.
anything else?
Well,
3:06. President Trump is fashionably late as usual. What you got? Anything else? Should I move on?
Yeah, I had one thing. So this came out about 15 minutes ago. So the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, BLET, America's oldest union, saw 99% of party committee donations go to the Democrats and has been funding groups that oppose election integrity like the SAVE Act.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that, but you know what that's called? That's called, just like with the teachers union, that's just called money laundering.
Yeah. Business as usual.
Yeah, just business as usual, just doing everything can. And that's why I saw a video this morning with Randy Weinstein from the teachers union. And if you watch the video without even turning on the volume, she looks Hitler-esque. She's freaking out while she's screaming. And I'm like, just watching these videos and watch how some of these people act, you can actually see they're losing. They know they're losing. They can't get away from it. All right. So let me. Well,
actually, I have one more. Do you know who the lady Mehek Cook from Ohio?
Who?
She was she's an Indian lady, Mehek Cook, Mehek Cook.
Yeah, we've had her on the show,
right?
We've had her on the show.
Well, apparently she just dropped a major bombshell on Ohio fraud. So she exposed the massive home health care. She said the fake care, the rubber stamp paperwork, all the kickbacks, robbing seniors, disabled Ohioans, and hardworking families blind. They just told, what they told her? It's just cost of doing business, what you just said. I mean, this has got to end.
Well, the part of it ending is a part of it being exposed. And I think now as it's being exposed, people need to really begin paying attention to that as much as possible because they try to sweep it under the rug so fast so it goes away.
Yeah.
All right. I see they got the feed. Right. The feed is up. So let me get ready for
Almost
this.
There.
Thank you,
All right.
SV.
See you in a bit.
All right. All right, so let me tell you about something that's happening tomorrow, but we'll talk about it today as well. As you guys know, I did an interview, and I'll show it again tomorrow with the trader's agent. So if you ever wondered how politicians seem to buy stocks at the perfect time, right before major world events, well, it just keeps happening. A member of Congress reportedly bought $50,000 in a defense company shortly after the Iran conflict began. But here's the crazy part. Those trades are actually legal and public information, which means everyday investors like you and me can follow them. My buddy Ross Given, who I've talked to, you're going to love the interview I show you tomorrow if you haven't seen it already, is hosting a free training session. Let me capitalize the word free this Wednesday. That would be 2 days from now, May 6th at 3:00 p.m. Eastern, where he's going to show you exactly how it works. He's been tracking insider trades for nearly a decade, and some have returned over 1,000% return. I couldn't believe some of the stuff that I learned the first time Ross showed me. And he shows you exactly how anyone, can follow these trades as well. This is going to be big, and seats are limited. It's funny, last time I talked to Ross and told people about the webinar, people were slow to sign up, and then all of a sudden it exploded. I guess there was word of mouth. So click the link in the description below, or just go to insidertradeswithbarry.com and grab one of the final spots. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Go to https://insidertradeswithbarry.com and register for a free training. Won't cost you a dime. It's quick to sign up. You can watch from anywhere, and it costs you absolutely nothing to see how this works. Again, that link is insidertradeswithbarry.com, or simply click the link in the description below. The feed is up. It looks like President Trump may be coming out soon. I don't know. Just to let you know, I don't know how long this is going to last, and I don't know the content of what he's going to be talking about. Obviously, small business summit, but we shall see it, and I will be right back.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Excuse me. Okay, as you can see, they've got the feed ready, and we're just waiting for President Trump to walk through the door. They're playing their music. There's the media, and it looks like this is the East Room. I didn't see a round table of sorts, so I don't know how they're going to work it. But as soon as President Trump, seems like they're getting the camera, as soon as he comes in, we will definitely cut to it. But right now they're just playing music. So with that being said, I want to share with you something, and we can break when President Trump comes on, because this isn't something that would be a problem if we break into it. I wanted to show you something that was very, very interesting. Harris Faulkner today, well, actually, she showed it today, but it was recorded maybe last week. She had one of her focus groups where she talked to people about where they sat right now in terms of where they want to vote. It's very interesting. So while we're waiting for President Trump, let me jump into this so you guys can check this out.
We begin this week officially 6 months out from midterm election day. There is a lot at stake for Republicans and Democrats when it comes to the president and his agenda. The GOP advantage in both chambers on the Hill is razor thin, and the push is on to grow their margin of majority on the right. Control of the U.S. House could go almost either way, with a historically high number of retiring members on both sides of the political aisle. A fight over some open seats, some Democrats expressing optimism now over a chance as well to flip the Senate blue. The fight is on. Just sat down with 8 voters spanning the political spectrum. Voters' voices. In the front row, David, a Republican, Susan, a Democrat, Dominic, an independent, and Angela, a Republican. Let's meet the back row now. James, Democrat, David P., because we have a couple of Davids, Republican, Mary Josephine, an independent, and Dan, a Democrat. And here is a look at how all the voters overall are feeling 6 months before Election Day. On the generic congressional ballot, an average of recent national polling, Democrats lead by just under 6 points. But when it comes to how voters view the political parties, Republicans have the advantage. Voters see the GOP more favorably by a margin of about 3 points. A majority have a negative view of both political parties.
Now, that I could agree with. I would say there's a good amount of people just tired with politics in general. I don't put, as you know, if you've watched my show, I don't put much credence into any polls right now. I think polls are skewed. I don't think they really mean much. That's why I actually wanted to hear what these people had to say, not some poll with, blind people. I mean, I don't mean like blind can't see, but a blind pool of people that we don't even know who they asked. So I really want to see what these people have to say. And by the way, when she taped this, she didn't know that Florida with Ron DeSantis went ahead and redistricted and basically just about eliminated the Democrats in Florida. I mean, just destroy them. It is now law. I'm sure they'll try and sue.
I want to get a view of how you're going to vote. So in the past, how many of you have regularly voted in a midterm election? All right, not everybody. How about this time around? Everybody. Everybody voting? Just about. All but one. So I'm going to come to you. I want to know what holds you back this time from voting.
Well, honestly, what has been holding me back is I feel like the change that I was expecting from the president himself, I don't feel in my everyday life, which is concerning to me. I still feel, obviously, that, prices are very, very, very high. If you're going to the grocery store or just in general, because inflation still exists. Unfortunately, now we have the higher gas prices, which really hurt, everyday people in their pocket. And I've voted my entire life. And the frustration right now is, it's just unbelievable because what really...
Problem with that. If you're frustrated now and you choose not to vote, you are basically voting for a Democrat. Just understand, you as well, if you have friends, you have family, if you have people in the chat say, I'm just not going to vote. You're in essence waving the white flag. You are surrendering. You don't realize that you're in a fight not just for your well-being, but all of America. You can't afford to sit out. I don't know this woman, but if I was sitting right next to her, hey, Harris, yeah, she's selfish. Right now, if you notice what this woman said, this woman said, me, I. And because of that, because I'm not voting. I'm sorry. Don't you care about the country? Isn't the country more important than you? Just say.
Changes. I just feel like that we're kind of, kind of steering the ship in the same direction.
That's interesting. So, Mary Josephine, you are, describe yourself, I should say, because it's not a party, but it's how you vote, independent. So you're independent from either political party, and you just don't feel strong about any of your choices right now. Susan, are you nodding at me?
How can you not feel? I don't know. I'm sorry. When I hear that you want to be Switzerland, you understand it means nothing. We all know what people went through to get us the right to vote. And for you to say in April or May, nah, I'm not doing it. Don't want to play. Understanding if you don't play now, if you don't play in November, you will be playing after November under the rules that somebody else makes you play under. You see, by then, you don't have an opinion. If December X or Y happens, the rules will be made for you and you will have no input into said rules.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now the political climate is very divided. I think that I'm a Democrat, but I think that a lot of the independents, they feel left out. Just a classic example, they can't vote in the primaries. So how are you going to, encourage voter activity if they can't even vote in a primary and they have to wait till November when in New York, the primary already decides who the candidate will be in office.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And my notes have you as a moderate Democrat. I'm just curious, what does that mean to you right now?
I feel, and I had this conversation with Dominic before we came on, I feel like a lot of independents have been disenfranchised. I feel strongly that I register as a Democrat. I was a Bill Clinton Democrat. Bill Clinton was the first president I voted for. And I feel like the Democratic Party has lost its ways. But I don't want to be an independent because then I can't vote in the primary. So I want to...
See, this is what's happening. We have a lot of people who are just completely mixed up. They have no idea. They have no intestinal fortitude. They have no guts. This is really going to get us in trouble. I understand she's a Democrat, but there is no such thing as a moderate Democrat anymore. Your party has left you. That train went flying by you, and they don't care about you anymore. So you're going to have to make a decision. So this is two women. The first two people she talked to are two women who just seem like they're, I don't know. Are you kidding me? In this day and age, you're wondering what you should be, what should be your fervor? Yeah, you really don't know at this point where the direction that your party as a Democrat is taking things. You're thinking that maybe, I don't know, it's not what I believe anymore. So what the hell are you doing? That's like a wife being married to a guy that beats her, but like, I can't leave. I'm stuck here.
Stay as a Democrat because I want to be able to vote.
So critical. This is like a fresh perspective this morning because a lot of times independents don't really speak up about that. They just don't vote until they can. But Mary Josephine, you make a good point. You can't even get warmed up to vote because you're not included in that primary process by name. All right, a recent Gallup poll shows economic issues are dominating when it comes to the most important issues to voters right now. Top mentions: inflation, energy, housing, healthcare. The cost for all of them people are concerned about, and those account for nearly 1/3 of the answers in the open-ended survey.
Oops, sorry. My bad. I wanted to hit this. Where was I?
Healthcare, according to Gallup, bubbles up to the top. David in the front row, I know you are a Republican. What do you say about this?
Yeah, I think it comes down to priorities. People want to see the messaging, the laws, and everything that comes with it reflect the voters' concerns, whether it's housing, healthcare. They want a laser-like focus so they can feel like they're getting some relief, or there's an attempt to get some relief. So I feel like the focus has been off.
Your laser-like focus in my notes, affordability, housing, education, in that order. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, affordability is number one, because if you don't have housing, and you feel like the price of food and the price of gas is, stopping you from having a better standard of living, it's going to be a problem. It's going to influence.
So my first question to him, Harris, you blew an opportunity. Your question to him should have been, what do you do for a living? Because if you're worried about affordability, what do you do for a living? What are you doing to provide for yourself? You have a family? Are you married? You got kids? Did you have the kids without understanding what it would cost you? What exactly is unaffordable? See, that's another question I love to ask people. When they say it's unaffordability, what is unaffordable? Some people want to get a Cybertruck. Oh, it's way too expensive. Somebody may want to live on the ocean. Oh, it's way too expensive. We haven't gotten to a point in this country where people can take the abstract words and define them for themselves. I don't want people to tell me things are unaffordable without telling me which things are unaffordable. We're giving people a cop-out. The cop-out being is I can put a label on things and call them unaffordable, but I don't even know what that means to you. What you may consider unaffordable, I may find to be quite affordable, and what I find unaffordable, somebody else may say, no, it's fine. I want to know if your unaffordability feelings are based upon your income or your desire. See, that's a big difference right there. If things are unaffordable to you, why are they unaffordable? Is because you can't get what you want? Or, like Mick Jagger said, you might just get what you need. People in this day and age, especially on social media and keeping up with the Joneses, they often want a desire. They often want something that is unattainable. They see somebody else with it. Oh, I want that, but it's unaffordable. No, come back here. Come back here. I want to talk about you and your family and your tribe. What is unaffordable? And then I've noticed when you put people in that position, they completely freak out these days. When I was growing up, if somebody said, hey, what do you want? Well, I'd like to have this car. I'd like to have this. Okay. You remember the song? I can't play it, but I would play it on Rumble. It's by Nickelback. Everybody wants to be a rock star. And they had the guy from ZZ Top. I want this. I want a house, cribs. How you gonna do it? Remember that song? Maybe go download it and just wait until the guy from ZZ Top comes in. He goes, how you gonna do it? Because the guy from Nickelback was, I want a big car, I want 13 houses, I want this, I want the finest car. How you gonna do it? What are you gonna do to get there? What's your roadmap? You just can't tell me things are unaffordable and blame it on politics without having any idea whatsoever in terms of how you can go from here to the desire. See, if I want a house on the Intercoastal, I know how much it's going to cost. What are you going to have to do to get there? Well, I'm going to have to do this. Well, that means I might not be able to have a second studio. Maybe my second studio, I fold and I save that money from the second studio and I start saving that to get the other house. People can't define anymore what they want, and they can't create roadmaps on how to get there. I bet you, many of you guys are my age, you sat down with your parents, your uncle, your grandparents, or somebody, and you're like, what do you want to do when you grow up? just from an educational basis. I want to be a doctor. All right. You're going to have to do this, this, and this to become a doctor. You didn't go from, I want to be a doctor to, I'm a doctor. You got to go through all the steps. We all had to do that. You want to be a lawyer? Here's what you got to do. That's what guidance counselors were for. Today, you get 20-somethings, and they're like, it's unaffordable. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe you just haven't written a plan yet.
What's the way you vote and how you feel?
So, David in the back row, also a Republican. I'm curious because you're 21. I always you and I have been together before, election night many times. Yes. And I'm watching you grow into a man, so that is a wonderful blessing to see. But I want to ask you, as you continue to vote as a young man and you're looking at some of these issues, affordability has many in your age group on the political left really lurching towards socialism. But you're not doing that.
That's true. I'm not. I think it's easy to see where the frustration comes from and where the anger comes from. I think that in part is what powered Zoran Mamdani to his election, and we now have a social.
I got to interject here. I got a question for people who are into socialism. You think things are unaffordable now? What do you think you'll afford under socialism? I'm smiling because if you can't answer that question, you have no idea what socialism has in store for you. You think it's unaffordable now? What do you think it's going to be like if we were a socialist country? Here's a hint. Here's a hint for you people who like socialism. It's in one word: Cuba. There's a lot of people down there who found out what unaffordability really was. A lot of people in communist countries really found out what unaffordability is. You can't have anything. Forget your desires. I don't think enough young people have thought that. Yeah, we don't need millionaires. Let them leave. The mayor of Seattle says, okay, well, bye. You're not taking my money. Oh, we need to just take their money. It sounds so sexy for people who love socialism right now. They think that they're going to be able to do this and do that, and they've never studied what happens when you get there. It's like going on a vacation ride, and as many people have said, the joy of going on a family vacation you've seen in movies is the journey. When you get there, it's like, oh, okay. So it sounds nice. The journey of getting to socialism sounds great. You go to rallies, you go to protests. Then when you get socialism, what you get? It ain't Cracker Jacks.
Socialist mayor of New York City, which I don't think a lot of people would have predicted a couple years ago. But I think you have to differentiate between identifying the problem, which is the affordability issue, with what are the rational solutions? How do we deal with it? What's the conservative approach and the more liberal approach?
Yeah, interesting. James, I want to get your view on this idea of health care, though, because neither party really has stepped up and said, okay, well, this is what we will do.
Well, I would say that, this administration has somewhat highlighted, a lot of conversation around vaccinations, around taking dye out of food.
Make America healthy again.
Right. So I would like to see the Democrats now actually kind of co-opt that conversation. Right. I have three young kids. I have a 5-year-old son, a 5-year-old daughter, 2-year-old daughter, and a 5-month-old son. Aww. Right. And my wife breastfeeds. Right. So those kind of things, that health conversation is real important for our household and my friends as well. So I just like to see Democrats kind of be, okay, what are we going to do now to kind of say, well, let's have the conversation what health looks like in neighborhoods or black communities like mine that I grew up in.
So that is so fast.
You notice that when Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, AOC, and they talk about health care, they never talk about the care. What they mean is health costs. They want to give you cheap stuff. I don't know if you buy much cheap stuff, but cheap stuff is usually worth what you pay for it. They don't talk about the actual care. What are you going to provide this young man and his 3 little kids where he wants the Democrats to co-opt it? Good luck, because it ain't about the care. It's about the cost. We want to give everybody the same. Other people can afford more. Nope, you got to all come in and be in the same basket. But what do I get for it? And I understand where he's coming from. Man, I got 3 kids. This is going to be a huge expense. I like to see the Democrats get on the Maha bandwagon here, but they won't, because it's not about care. It's about cost, how much they can take from other people. Tell me anything other than abortion that the Democrat politicians have ever said, you know what, I'd like to see what we can do about this or that or the other thing. Pediatrics, no, other than for free to people, in the hood or wherever, illegals, but they never talk to people like you who have a family. Oh my gosh, a black man with a family. Oh no, we can't answer his questions because we don't care.
Fascinating, because when we say healthcare, I think most people think just the cost of it. But you are into the nitty-gritty because the Trump administration has gotten into the nitty-gritty, and you want that from your political left as well.
Well, not left. Take it easy. I'm moderate.
Well, I didn't say far left, but you are left of center.
And I think that conversation becomes, as Democrats, they're kind of renaming being a Democrat now.
Oh,
and I'm not left. Right,
You noticing something? She's got 8 people on this panel. 3 of the 8 that she's talked to thus far consider themselves Democrat, but we're not radical. In New York City. So you have to sit back and ask yourself, where are the radicals? Well, they're in colleges. They're the poor. They're the illegals. These are people that aren't understanding that their party doesn't exist anymore. These are the people you need to work on. Hey, I saw this guy on Harris Faulkner's show, and he doesn't realize the Democrat Party that he continues to align himself with, probably because he's black, doesn't care about him anymore. The woman says, I'm in the middle and I'm just going to not vote. That's because they don't care about you anymore. You are hanging on to a spouse who's gone someplace else. Your girlfriend is out there partying, living her best life, and you're still wondering, is she coming back? No, they are never coming back. At some point, you got to realize, man, I made a wrong decision somewhere.
I'm right here in the middle of the sense of being a Democrat, so.
All right, I'm going to mute you right where you all are, because you seem to all light up on that.
Yeah.
Michigan's Democrat Senate primary is a glaring example of what we are seeing from the far-left Democrat candidates now. It's a growing part of the party, and critics are calling out Mallory McMorrow, for an example, for deleted posts trashing rural Americans in her own state. Her Democrat rival, Abdul El-Sayed, has gotten a lot of attention for disgusting comments such as Israel is just as evil as Hamas and offensive comments about Vice President Vance's wife and children. In Maine, moderate Democrat Janet Mills just dropped her Senate bid, paving the way for far-left Graham Plattner. And he's facing criticism for past controversial posts and now covered tattoo that resembles a Nazi symbol. I mean, well, when you see it, you wouldn't confuse it with anything else. If you still think the Democratic Party is not lurching toward socialism, we're going to scroll a list of far-left candidates. Just this season, the list is growing. All right. Mary Josephine, I heard from you earlier first, but I'm going to come to you and then get to Dan.
I really think that it's become so divisive that people, they are lurching far left and lurching far right because they really want that change that I'm talking about. And I think it's because the answers haven't been found, even though they're in the middle. I really think that people want clean water. They want clean air. They want healthy food for their children. And
I'm pretty sure if you did a poll and said, list the top 10 things, although, yes, we all do want clean water, and yes, we all do want clean air, I'm probably thinking they're like at 11 and 12. I don't even know if they make the top 10. What in the hell are you talking about? You hear these people, and I almost wonder if they just hate Trump. They understand that she said people have lurched to the left. She doesn't want to be associated with them. And she said people have lurched to the right. And she doesn't want to be associated with that. What the hell do you want? Oh, what clean air, clean water, and you can't even define it.
For their families, they want a safe environment in their cities. They want to be able to, go to school and learn and not, come out being confused as to what is right and what is wrong. I think it's.
Well, then you're a Republican. You won't admit it to yourself. It just bothers you. It eats at your core. I want to be safe. I don't want to get indoctrinated. My children indoctrinated in schools. I don't want. So you're a Republican, but you don't want to. You hate Trump. It's got to be. I mean, you just said your own answers, and I'm sure everybody watching right now went, "Well, what? She ain't getting that from the left. She's resisting." And so, like I said, there's 8 people on this stage, 8 people right there, and you've heard from 4 of them, and 3 out of the 8 thus far have said, I'm disillusioned with what's going on the left, but I just can't commit to doing anything on the right. That's where we are as a country. We have a whole bunch of people who are just like, I don't like these whack jobs, and I don't like Trump. All this stuff in the middle is where you and me have to work to try and get these people to understand they're never coming back. Everything you thought on the left is no longer in existence.
Simple.
Dan?
I think in the last year, what we've seen is left side of our party start to push for more government role in these exact issues, and issues like housing and affordability, our environment, our city streets. Mm-hmm. Living here in New York, I can tell you, I'm not exactly thrilled with all of the construction that's blocking the streets, but I'm happy that the potholes are being filled. This is a vision that kind of proposes itself as a way to fix the issues of society.
The socialist mayor's vision you're talking about.
Yeah, in a way that the private market has not for the last 10 to 15 years, and I think it's good to have competition in the idea marketplace.
Are you comfortable?
I don't know where, oh, yeah, I do know. This guy lives in New York. I don't know where you live, but I'm pretty sure where you live, it's always been the job of the city government to take care of potholes. That's not something that Mondami just decided to do. I don't have any potholes where I live. And if I do, they're probably fixed in like in a day, because that's what the city is here for. That's what they do. That is the job of a local administrator. All right, so we're going to come back to these guys as President Trump is ushering in some women and men who are obviously in small business. Let's check it out.
2 minutes.
Well, I didn't know they were going to be taking that long, but they're still waiting for President Trump to come in. When I cut over, they had a bunch of people that were, looked like small business owners that were walking in the room and getting ready. So they're not quite ready to go live with this event. Keeping an eye on it. But while I am waiting, it gives me perfect time to get in some information about chapter. Medicare is confusing. And as someone who turned 65 last year, I can confirm this. Keeping track of enrollment periods, understanding all your options, and making sure you're on the right plan takes too much time and energy. And between Medicare scams, corrupt agents, and bloated insurance companies, it's easy to make mistakes that can cost you thousands, literally. That's why I'm happy I called Chapter when I had to. They're actually honest and the only Medicare advisor that looks at every plan nationwide, helping people save an average of $1,100 a year. That's $100 a month. Might go to your gas. People are relieved when they talk to Chapter. These guys won't push you to buy a plan you don't want or can't afford, and their support is completely free. So if you're turning 65 soon or have questions about your Medicare coverage, call them at 475-328-3545 to get the most out of Medicare. And when you call them, understand most people wish they just called sooner. And you can get them at 475-328-3545 or go to askchapter.org/Barry to confirm your free 20-minute appointment to see what they can do for you. All right, so let me, is SB hitting me up here? Hold on, as we're waiting for President Trump to come in.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Well, we have a great group of people outside. I just looked at their wares, and it's beautiful stuff. Made in America. It's great, great stuff. Please sit down. I'm thrilled to be with you and welcome you to the most fabulous place the White House is. Nothing quite like it. People come from all over the world. The King and Queen were just here, and they looked and they said, this place is just amazing. When they came into the Oval Office, they said, this is something. And they've seen some very nice places. They've seen some great rooms, but it is a very special place as we celebrate National Small Business Week. So let me begin by saying congratulations to the small business people of the year from all 50 states. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and you can be proud of yourself. Our country is made up of a lot of small businesses, and that ends up being a really big business. As small business owners and operators, the people in this room represent the 36 million small businesses who create 40% of all economic activity in the United States. Think of that. A group of people added together. You're essentially the most important factor business-wise in the whole country. And this country is leading the whole world. We are now. That I can tell you by a lot. You're the lifeblood of the American economy, and with your help, we're truly making America great again. We're doing record business. We have a stock market that hit even with this military operation, call it whatever you want. We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. We hit all new highs, and I said, we have to take care of business because we can't let that happen. So we did a little detour, and it's working out very nicely. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. They have no radar. They have no nothing. They have no leaders, actually. The leaders happen to be gone also. But can't let them have a nuclear weapon, or you'd have problems like nobody would believe. And it's going very well. We're also pleased to be joined this afternoon by Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, who's been amazing. Where's Chris? Except everybody was wrong. They thought that energy would be at $300, right? $300 a barrel, and it's like at 100. And I think going down, and I see it going down very substantially when this is over, Chris. And I think very rapidly too, at levels that you've never seen, because there's a lot of energy out there of ships all over the world that are loaded up with it. They can't do much with it because they got kidnapped by a pretty evil place, but we're taking care of it. We have Administrator Kelly Loeffler, who's incredible, and she's the head of the Small Business Administration. We're thinking about a name change, but I don't know. It's still pretty good name. And I always say the small business is a giant business, because when you add up your whole department, that's not a small business. That's a really big business, the biggest. Under the last administration and their radical left allies in Congress, small businesses were brutally crushed by the worst inflation in American history. We had the worst inflation under Biden that we've ever had. And I always like to correct, because if I don't correct, then the papers, the media goes crazy. He made a mistake. Well, the official number is 48 years. I say the worst in history because I don't believe the 48 years. I say it was worse than that. But in many ways, 48 years sounds worse than in history. I don't know why. But it was 48 years or worse. It was in a Biden inflation. This is what I inherited. And now we had it down where just prior to the war, the inflation was 1.4%. And for 3 months, over a 4-month period, took me a little while to get it down from the levels it reached. Biden added $6 trillion worth of new regulations and created an estimated 356 hours of paperwork every year for small businesses. You know what that means better than anybody? It means no good. Their policies punish hardworking citizens, and our policies protect you and reward you. And also, we have to have something else that I think is good for your businesses. We are respected all over the world now, again, as a country. We were laughed at. We were a joke. We were a total joke. Right, Rick? I see Rick, my television star over here. He's been with us from the beginning, haven't you? Like maybe from the first speech. Long time, right? Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I think we're doing good for you, Rick, right? And you're doing good with your shop? And I know you're doing good on the television camera, so that's maybe more. That's good. That's great. Thank you, Rick. Last summer, I proudly signed the great, big, beautiful bill, the largest tax cuts in the history of our country, and boosting millions of small businesses. Thank you. Boosting millions of small businesses. We passed no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our seniors. That's big stuff. And we add that to the package that we approved in my first term. We had the best financial years in the history of our country in my first term, and I think we're going to blow them away this term. You know, in this term, we have $18 trillion being invested in our country. And if you look at the last administration, they had less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We have $18 trillion during 11 months. The 12th month hasn't come in yet in terms of the numbers. But in 11 months, $18 trillion investments. We have auto plants being built all over the country, AI plants we're doing, and we're leading China in AI. And I'm going to go see President Xi in 2 weeks. I look forward to that, but I'll say I'm leading. We have very friendly competition. But it'll be a very important trip. We provided 100% expensing and bonus depreciation, which is tremendous one of the biggest things that you have. I mean, it's people have no idea how big that is, the businesses do. So that businesses can deduct 100% of the cost of new facilities, equipment, and capital investment in the first year. It used to take 38 years of deduction. Now you get it done in one. You can take one so you can expand. I think that's what made us so successful in the first term, but now we have it for a 10-year period. So you have it for a while. I really was going to make it for a 1-year period. That would mean you spend all your money immediately. Now, unfortunately, I gave you too much time. I was sort of against that. I said, let's do it for a shorter period of time, but we did it. It's the right thing. And this way, when I get out of office in, let's say, 8 or 9 years from now, I'll be able to use it. I'll be able to use it myself. And to ensure that you and your family can keep your businesses in the family, we virtually eliminated the unfair estate tax or death tax for farmers and for small businesses. So, you know, oftentimes you build, I mean, I just met some incredible people. They have beautiful businesses, small businesses. They want to have their children. Those businesses were all long-term. It was, the father was there, right? We're just talking about with the beautiful pretzels. I said, pretzels, oh, those look good. I wanted to take some right now, but I didn't want to be rude and rip your bag apart. But the businesses they've been in business for a long time, almost every one of them. And you pass away, you want to have your children take over your business, they work in your business, and they got hit with the state tax, or we call it the death tax, but we call it both. It does the same thing. And they couldn't afford it. They went out, they take the business, they mortgage it up to pay the tax, and they end up losing the business. They end up going bankrupt. They end up, in many cases, committing suicide. We have a lot of that. You have a lot, especially farms, you know. They want to be on that farm. They don't want to lose their farm. And it's land rich and cash poor. And they go out and they borrow and keep borrowing. We ended that. No more estate taxes on farms and small businesses. So I hope everyone's appreciative of it. Now, if you don't like your children, it doesn't mean anything. But if you do like to leave them to somebody that you love, then it's a big deal for them. You have other problems, but for them, it's a big deal. And I want to say thanks to these tax cuts. 12 million American small businesses got an average tax cut of over $7,000, and our pass-through deduction alone is delivering an average of $4,600 in savings to 8 million entrepreneurs, and is projected to generate $750 billion in economic growth for the country. So many, it's really amazing. I see it on the television. I don't call this fake news because this is real fake news, but when you look at some of the things that have taken place, we don't get covered correctly. But in terms of the truth, we're having $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000, $11,000 with no tax on tips and no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. And people are making sometimes 11, I've seen it just where they're asking people virtually on the street, how is it doing? And everyone's surprised, including me. I didn't know it was going to be as much, but I knew it was going to be a lot. But you have people that make an extra $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a year between the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime is a big one. It's a big one. But the no tax on tips was great. I won the. You know, typically, I don't know why. I can't imagine people voting for the other side with their policies on everything beyond this, long beyond this. But we won Nevada by a lot, and typically Democrats win that state. And no tax on tips. A lot of people getting tips in Nevada, so it had a big impact on people, and much bigger than they thought. And they're just now starting to realize how big and how really wonderful the great big beautiful, I call it the great big beautiful bill is, because we really, it should be called the great big beautiful tax cut bill and regulation cut bill. We put everything in 4 years. If we didn't pass another bill, which won't happen because you always want to keep going, but everything was put into this one bill. That's why it's called the Great Big Beautiful Bill. And one of the things that happened is we were going to do it over 17 different bills. And I said, let's give it a shot. Put everything in one bill, and thank goodness we did it. because the Democrats don't approve anything. They don't approve. You can have the best thing. It can be for security. Look at the security. They want to defund ICE. They want to defund our incredible Border Patrol. They want to, essentially, they want to defund the police, but they don't want to say it. It's crazy what's going on. So we put it all at the beginning. We have a little honeymoon period, a tiny little honeymoon period in this case. So we got it all approved. Late at night, it got approved. And this was really done as a 4-year bill, Kelly. You know that very well. You were a big part of it. And we got it done, and everybody was surprised. They thought we had to do it in little tranches. I don't know that we would have gotten the little tranches done. There was so much in here that people had to approve it. And if we would have done it individually, I'm not sure it would have gotten done. Plenty of those individual elements would not have gotten done. And almost as important as the tax cuts, we've slashed a record number of job-crushing regulations. That includes for you, and that includes tremendous numbers of environmental regulations, which stopped your businesses, but they didn't do anything, and they had no impact. If anything, they made the environment worse. But we eliminated 129 old regulations for every new one that was approved. It was supposed to be 1 in 10, and it's turning out to be 129. So for every regulation, think of that, 129, we lose them, we get rid of them. It was supposed to be 1 in 10. We would have been happy with, we did 1 in 12. We started off 1 in 7 with my last administration. We got it up to about 1 in 12. Now I see we have a 1 in 129. So we're getting rid of 129 nonsense regulations for every new one that we pass. And thanks to these pro-growth policies, our economy is roaring, and factory construction is way up. Consumer confidence is way up. Business investment is more than triple compared to that of just a short time ago. And before I took office, nobody can believe it. And nobody can believe the $18 trillion number that we gave you, because it's a record for any country, not just here, it's for any country. A lot of that had to do with November 5th, but a lot of it had to do with tariffs. We charge tariffs to companies when they come in. A couple of you were just saying to me that you're getting hurt by China and other countries making a product that's not as good, but it's less money because of the fact that there were no guards, no safeties for you, and we've changed a lot of it. Some have said you've absolutely saved our business. But because of the use of tariffs, we have all this money. Because if they come in and build a business here, if they build their plant here, there are no tariffs. Jobless claims just hit the lowest level since 1969. And more Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. So we have more people working today than at any time in the history of our country. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I mean, what can be better than that? You say, like somebody was saying, oh, will AI take our jobs? Well, we have a lot of AI up. They said it's going to take jobs. I said, well, you're probably right, maybe a little bit, but it's going to create a lot of jobs. And did you know that more people are working in the United States right now than ever before? They said, no, is that true, really? That's the end of that argument. And a lot of good things are happening. And leading in AI is very important because that's a tremendously big industry. And we want to be able to lead. Primarily it's China, but other countries are very much active in it also. Under the last administration, 1 in 4 new jobs was a government job, but since my inauguration, 100%, think of that, 100% of all new jobs have been in the private sector, 100%. We cut a lot of government jobs. And 2 of the 3 new jobs have been in small businesses, but I just want to say, so think of that, 100% of new jobs are in the private sector. Now, to do that, we cut tremendous numbers of governmental jobs, and I feel sorry for everyone, and it's a hard thing to do. Many of those people voted for me, but now they like me because they went out, they got private sector jobs that they like better, and it's paying them sometimes 2 and 3 times more money. So it's worked out the right way, but you have to do that. You can't just we had government jobs where you'd have 10 people doing the job of 1 person, and you can't make America great that way. So we did it the hard way, but the correct way, and the correct way. Big difference, right, Kelly? You see it. It's nobody's ever seen anything quite like it, and it was especially working here. it's tough because, this is the home of federal jobs. I wouldn't say I got tremendous. I mean, we won the election in a landslide. We won all 7 swing states. We did all the things that you've heard so many times with counties, which is a big count. That's why you see the map is all red practically. When you look at it, we won 86% of the counties in the country. But here is a little bit different. But now, if you look at those people, some of them have left. And by the way, speaking of that, Washington, D.C., which was very unsafe a year ago, a little more than a year ago, is now one of the safest cities in the United States. So, pretty good. So we had to cut the jobs because we were way bloated with federal jobs. And, I could, with one swipe of the pen, I could say, let's have no employment, and I'll hire 1 million people or 2 million people. I say, we just hired 1 million people, and we have absolutely no employment. And that's what they would do. They'd have bad numbers coming up, so they'd hire a couple of 100,000 people, and the numbers would look okay. With me, it's the exact opposite. We terminate a lot of federal jobs that are unnecessary, and they don't like me for doing it, but a year later, they like me because they end up having a much better job, oftentimes in a place where they'd much rather live. They go to the place that they want to go. They're not stuck in Washington or someplace else. And they do much better. And in the end, I've had a lot of people come up. They say, I was so angry at you, but now I'm making sometimes 2 or 3 times the money in a job that I really like. So you got to do what you have to do. You have to, politically, I don't know if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I think it's probably bad, maybe politically. But in the meantime, I'm in the White House, so maybe it's good. A lot of times, as you probably heard, the fake news media treats me very, very badly. 93% of the stories I get are bad, and yet I won in a landslide. How do you win all 7 swing states when you get only bad press? It's fake press. They give me fake polls. They tell me about polls and this. It's interesting. I did a poll on the war with Iran, and they said only 32% of the people like it. Well, I don't like it, and I don't like war at all, but we're equipped better than it. We have the greatest military in the world. You saw what happened with Venezuela. You see what happens with everything. But they said 32% of the people are against President Trump. Well, when you explain it, like, is it okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon? It wouldn't be 32%. But even if you said that, there'd be a 32% because the polls are fake. They're totally fake. And when you take a look at what's really going on, the other day I made a speech in a great Florida senior citizens community, and I made another one at the Kravis Center, 2 in one day. It was wonderful. I go out and make a speech. Then I say, all right, let's go home. Sir, you're making another speech, and this one's in front of the richest people in the world. I went from an unbelievable group of seniors. Now, of course, I'm not a senior. I'm far younger than a senior. It's true. I feel the same as I felt 50 years ago. I don't know. There'll be a period of time when I don't tell you that. There'll be, because I'm honest, I'll say, it's not looking good. I have to be careful. If I said, as an example, I'm not feeling well, they put on, Donald Trump is not feeling well, because they won't know that I'm using that as just a reference point, and they'll say, listen to this. I'll say, I'm not feeling well. Well, someday I might say that to you, and you'll be the first to know. Actually, I won't have to say it because you'll be able to see it, just like you did in the last administration. One of the things I said is that we should have, in my opinion, anybody running for president or vice president should take a cognitive test. And no president has ever taken one except me. I've taken 3 of them, and I've aced each one. 1 in the first administration, 2 over here. And whenever they get a little sassy, like, does he still have it? Does he still have what it takes? I say, all right, I'll take another one. And they are hard. There are many people in this room I know that are smart. They're not going to ace them. There are many people standing back there, the fake news media, that I'd like to have them. The first question is very easy, and they always show the first question is, you have a lion, a bear, an alligator, and what's another good? A squirrel, okay? Which is the squirrel? So they show that question, And then the first 4 or 5 questions they get a little more difficult. By the time you get to the middle, they're tough. By the time you get to the end, I don't want to be insulting, but there won't be. I'm not going to do what Gavin Newsom said. You saw him. He said everybody in here is stupid, and he's stupid. I think it was the worst political interview I've ever seen. He said he's stupid, he's dumb, he gets bad marks on everything, he can't read a speech, and nobody wants to report that. It was the worst, but I won't say that because I think everyone in this room is brilliant, but nobody's going to get all 30 questions correct. Nobody. Because when you get to those last questions, they're pretty hard. You got to be pretty sharp. But every time, so I've taken 3. No president, think of this, has ever taken 1. How do you think Biden would have done? I don't think, he might not have gotten that first question right. Anyway, and Obama would have done poorly. They would have done very poorly. But I think you should have it. As soon as they said that, they say, it's unconstitutional. And I said, why? They say it's unconstitutional to give a cognitive test like that. But Rick, I do it anytime they start getting a little sassy. And you know, it quiets them down for almost a year when they hear the result. One doctor said, it's the first time I've ever seen anyone get all questions right. That's a doctor who does this stuff for a living. And I did it 3 times. So I don't know. I think I'm done with those days. I'm tired of taking that test. You know, you sit before a group of doctors and they ask you questions. I said to Ronnie Jackson, he was original, right? First time. I said, so what do you think, Ronnie? They call me a genius who's going to destroy the country. Then they said, he's a genius who's taken over the entire world. Then they said, he's a total moron. This guy is so stupid. And then, so whenever I hear that one, I say, let's take the cognitive test. But I really think it would be a great thing if you could do that. They say it's not constitutional, but I think it would be good. And I can tell you, a lot of the people that run these small businesses, you could take the cognitive test and you could do a lot better than some of the people that we talk about. But I really believe it. I think it's so important for our country. We have to make sure we have the right people leading this country. Like, we have a war right now, and we're into, like, what, 6 weeks? They said, what's taking so long? We were in Vietnam 19 years. We're in Iraq for many years, 10 years, 12 years. We were in all these different wars. Korea, 7 years. I won't even mention World War II. That's a big baby. But you had the wrong person up here, you'll be in World War III. As sure as you're sitting there, you have the wrong person up there. It's nasty and tricky. It's tricky out there. We have to have the right people, and they have to be sharp and they have to be smart. Because one thing about your business is small businesses are great, but if you don't have the platform, meaning the country, meaning the right principles, the right everything, our country's booming now, despite the fact that we're in I call it a mini war, because that's all they are. They don't have a Navy anymore. Think of it. They had 159 ships. How many do they have left, Kelly? Out of 159, take a guess. She's very smart. 0. 159 ships. In the first 2 weeks, 159 ships. I actually got very upset. I said, how quality were the ships? They were very good. I said, why didn't you just take the ship? Why do you have to send it to the bottom of the sea? We could have had, let's say out of the 159, we could have taken 59. We would have had 59. But they'd rather blow them up than save them. I would have preferred saving them, but these are minor details. But one of the small business owners who can tell us firsthand how our tax cuts are boosting revenue is someone you may have heard, and I made mention of the fact he has been with me. I don't know, maybe he doesn't like me, or maybe he loves me. I think I'd rather be liked than loved by him, although he is a very handsome man, I would say. But he's somebody that we all know, and I think he's a fantastic guy, and he's been to so many rallies, so many speeches, and I love being able to introduce him because he's a champion, he's a winner. You know, to go on television and to make it, he made it big, but to go on television, I don't know if you know this, Rick, 5% of the shows make it. 2% of the shows make it pretty good. 1% of the shows make it. So it's very risky to do a television show and I did The Apprentice, and that was one of the great hits of a long time. But you did your show, and I've just always admired. I admire people that will go against the odds. And when you do a television show, you're going, because very, very few of them make it, and you made it big. So I'd like to have Rick Harrison come up. It's a gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas, and you know his show very well. And say a few words, Rick. Come on up. You're looking good. Thank you, Rick.
All right. Usually I like announcement rallies, and they give you like 3 minutes notice, and I can't come up with a speech, and they've literally just told me a couple hours ago to take a little speaking. I just want to say he's amazing. He's done so much. I mean, so much for all of us. I mean, the backbone of this country is small business, plain and simple. And the last guy in office, all we heard was that we were the evil people, we were the bad people, everything else like that. We don't pay our fair share, whatever that's supposed to be. And he made it tough. And this guy, the big beautiful bill, absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? God bless you for letting me get 100% depreciation. It really helps out. And all I can say is this is literally, I mean, I'm a history buff, and I know a lot about this White House thing and everything. Literally, he's going to go down as maybe the best president ever. I love this guy.
Wow. Wow. I'm glad we didn't tell you, because actually that was much better than when you're fully prepared. When he comes up fully prepared. No, that was great. Thank you very much. And very special guy. Thank you. Very nice. One of the strongest, and by the way, right behind me, see this? You call it a room. This is the biggest room in the White House. It's not big enough to have anything. We had the king here. We had like 102 people, and we could have had 2,000 people, literally. But this is, I call it a knockout panel. See, some people would say, oh, that's a curtain. Underneath that curtain is a window. Outside of that window is the new ballroom. So I said, I'll get out of here, and I'll let you guys, if you want to see a beautiful structure going up, complex, safe, things that could never happen like happened a week ago. That was a pretty bad situation. You can't have 1,000 units over the ballroom with an entrance right next to where you are for a lot of reasons. So if you want, we're going to open that up. I think later on you'll open it up, let the people take a look, and it would be pretty good. Not as exciting as looking at oil wells like Chris gets to do all day long, right? And speaking of that, we're doing well in Venezuela, right? It's working good?
Yes, we are, Mr. President.
Yeah, that was good. That war took us approximately 48 minutes. And actually, and we have a great relationship. And you know what? I heard the other day that the people of Venezuela are really happy. They're seeing things happen that they haven't seen in 20 years. They're working, and there's a spirit in Venezuela that they haven't had in many, many years. And the big companies are coming in now, and they're building these giant rigs because there's a lot of oil in Venezuela, a lot of other things too, and a lot of great people. And we have people in charge that are doing a fantastic job, and they're working with you, and you are doing a fantastic job. So thank you very much, Rick. Good job. Proud of you.
Very thankful for your proud and bold leadership to change the trajectory of their lives.
This was so good, I said, you better come up.
No, I want to say, as you engage with the people of Venezuela and the businesses, I will tell you that President Trump is incredibly popular with the people of Venezuela. It's a nation of 30 million people going the wrong way for 25 years. And a bold leadership of this president changed the trajectory of that country, changing the futures of all those people, wanting millions of Venezuelans abroad to go back to that country. American businesses are stampeding in to invest in that country. 25 years trying everything going the wrong way. His bold leadership and creative thinking changed the game. Thank you, Mr. President.
Wow, thank you. That's good. We have a great relationship. We have hundreds of millions of barrels of oil coming out of Venezuela, going to Houston and different places to have it refined. And we're sort of, it's almost really a partnership. The man you just heard speaking, Chris, has been he wasn't my choice. I had somebody else for Department of Energy, a fantastic man, Doug Burgum. And I said, I want you to head up energy. He says, no, there's one person better than me, is better than anybody. I said, who the hell is that? Chris Wright? I said, who's Chris Wright? Tell me. And he's like the #1 guy in the whole world at this subject. And I said, well, let's talk to him. I don't know, he probably makes a lot of money if he's doing that. And he was. He's taken one of the largest salary cuts in history, I'll tell you, without question. But he's done a fantastic job. These are the people we have. We have great people. Doug is great. He was the governor of North Dakota. He ran an incredible state. He was very successful in business. He started with a small business. He sold it for $1 billion to Microsoft. And he wanted to do what Trump did. He said, I want to be a business guy, and now I want to run. I made a lot of money. I want to run. So Doug Burgum ran, and he became a great governor for 8 years. He was term limited. And I saw him at a session, a speaking session, and sort of a debating session. I thought he was great. And I said, if I win, I'm going to get that guy in. And he's now heading up, he's now the largest landlord in the world, I guess you could say, right? Department of Interior. And he's been fantastic. But he wanted Chris to be energy. So he's got all the power of the energy, but he doesn't have the land. Doug has none of the power of him, but he has the land. So I merged them. It's a friendly merger. We don't have any papers. They just get along together, right? And I think today we've announced we're drilling more oil by far than we ever have in the history of our country. More oil and gas by far. And this was just said, but this took place almost from the beginning, right? We got it started very, very early. So you're doing a great job. Doug was right. And we're also very happy with Doug because he's doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate it. So one of the strongest effects of our tax cuts and tariffs is the Trump manufacturing boom, is what they're calling it, because that's what we have. We have never had anything like what's happening now. And when I talk about, again, the $18 trillion, that's coming in and building places. And as we speak, American companies are ordering core capital goods for factory construction and operation expansion. And you saw the construction numbers. Now, the plants will be opening over the next period of time, pretty soon. But, you know, we just got started. And these plants are going to be opening. Right now, the big numbers, the construction jobs in the country are going through the roof. And ultimately, when the plants open, then you're going to have manufacturing jobs, because right now the plants, many of them haven't opened, but they're under construction. When you see the final numbers, you're not going to even believe what you are seeing, because there's never been any construction boom of factories like we have right now. We lost our car industry. We lost 54% of our car industry to Canada, Mexico, Germany, Japan, South Korea, other countries. 54% over the years, over a period of probably 30, 35 years. And they're all coming back. They're all coming back. And they're coming back at levels that has never been seen before. It's pretty amazing. Well, you see, you'll see it. It can't be disguised by our friends that would, I guess, I don't know. I see so many of them smiling and having a good time that I actually think they probably like us. I think their bosses say, treat Trump as badly as you possibly can. But they had so many good faces, and so many, they are a lot of professionals there. But it's the highest rate in over 4 decades. And under 4 years of the Biden administration, real wages for manufacturing workers fell. It fell $840. Under 1 year of Trump, wages for factory workers, manufacturing factory workers, increased by $2,500. So think of that. Under Biden, it fell $840. And under Trump, it went up $2,500. That's quite a difference. And as I said, you haven't seen the real effect, because these factories are being built right now. When they open, you're going to see numbers that are much greater than that. And a lot of these government workers, good people, and you know, I don't blame them for liking what they had, but they're going to all be in this system, and they're going to be making double and triple what they were making in government. We have a country again, because you can't have a country that works where you have literally 10 people to do one job. you can't have it. You can't have a great country. Earlier this year, I visited Costa Steel in Rome, Georgia, before I took office. China and other countries were taking more of our industry all the time, just more and more. And Costa was hit very hard. Their core business dropped from 2 shifts to 6 days a week. And the 2 shifts were during my administration, by the way. But now is down to and then ultimately is down to 1 shift operating 3 days, and it was going down to 1 day, and they expected to go out of business. There was no stopping it. And now, thanks to the tax cuts and the steel tariffs that I put on, Costa is thriving like never before. I just heard from them, and they're at now full shifts, 2 full shifts, 6 days a week, and they may go to a 3rd shift round the clock. Think of that, round the clock. They've never had that before, and they've have a backlog of 7 months long of things that they're building, steel products, great. And they said, I was with the gentleman that owns the company. He thought he was going out of business, and now he said, now I have a great business in just a period of literally a year and a half. It's we thought we couldn't stop it. And he said, all of my friends up and down the line, they have different businesses, factories, big businesses, but they all thought they were going out of business, and now they're all doing better than they've ever done before. They've gone from employing, in this case, Costa, 50 people to 125 people, and the 50 people is going down to about 14 or 15, and now they're at 125, and they're looking for additional people to work. And I want to thank their president, Andrew Seville, who I think maybe is here. Andrew, are you here someplace? Where are you, Andrew? Wow. You want to say something? Come on up here. He really understood what was happening, and I think it would be nice. You weren't supposed to speak, so I hope you're not nervous. Come here.
Well, no, you make it easy.
Thank you very much.
The most thing that took us right to the top was your tariffs. And I think everybody in here that runs a small business, the tariffs had an effect on you one way or another, and that has just taken us, all the jobs that were going to China, you brought them back, and it really took us to the next level. And we were honored to have you come down to our company. So thank you for having me back here. I wasn't prepared to speak, so I'm going to get off the stage. Thank you, Mr. President.
You guys do better with no speech. You do better when you don't know you speak. You know what? It's a little truth to that, Rick. Sometimes you don't think you can introduce somebody. You know they're in the audience, but they don't know, and they end up doing better because they speak from the heart. They have no choice. They can't think about all night long, what am I going to say? And then you get up and you bore the place. No, it's very good. You speak from the heart, and that's true. Tariffs were a very big part. We had an unfortunate ruling out of the Supreme Court, but the good news is I'm able to do it a different way. They said use the other way. There was no reason for that. It was terrible, actually terrible, but it'll have no impact other than I hate to pay people back tariffs, $159 billion. I have to pay them back when a little half sentence, any money taken in to this point does not have to be paid back. We would have saved $159 billion, and I cannot figure it out. How could anybody do that? But they did it. We have other ways of tariffing. As you know, we're already doing it. And actually, they're more tested, they're stronger. A little bit more complex. I like to keep it as simple as possible. And in many ways, they'll be better. It'll be better. I just want you not to think that because of that decision, the tariffs will actually be higher. It's turning out they're going to end up being higher. But it's made our country rich, really rich. And it's like Andrew said, I mean, without them, there would be nothing we could do to save your country. Nothing. It's the greatest word. Remember, I used to say it's my favorite word in the dictionary, the word tariff. And then the fake news got on me. They said, well, what about God? What about your wife? What about your family? What about... So they were just killing me because I said it's my favorite word. I said, all right, it's my 5th favorite word. So it's my 5th favorite word. But because of tariffs and, the proper use of tariffs, so you have to use them in a certain way. But we've been ripped off in this. I've been talking about it for years. We've been ripped off in this country for decades. We lost our car industry. Think of it. There's a person here making, utensils, beautiful forks and knives and things. Where is that person? Who's around here? So stand up. So, and he was telling me, he said, China's coming in and they're ripping us, and we have a tariff, it's 25%, but it's not enough because, they have certain advantages that you're not going to have, but the advantage you have is you have a higher quality product. And I'm going to be able to take care of that very easily, just by putting it up. You'll be treated fairly. It's just really tough. And it's amazing you've done as well as you've done, but you did that because of the quality of your product. We have such quality. North Carolina, if you take a look, I'm going to put tremendous tariffs on. That process has already started. It takes me longer now because of the Supreme Court decision. I have to go through a process. It's ridiculous. But we don't like it. We like to do what's right and get it done instead of having to do a report which is going to come out and say the exact same thing that everyone knows. But you can tell the people in North Carolina that we used to have a great furniture business. I built a lot of hotels and a lot of different buildings where I need furniture. I would go to North Carolina. These were great artists, and China essentially put them out of business because we didn't have a president that was willing to do it. It happened before my term. They've been out of business for a long time. I used to go down there and see these people. They were artists with wood. I'd say, I'd like to make the handle a little bit slimmer. Ding, 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 ding. It was like magic. And we lost that whole thing. You can see it's coming back because we're putting tariffs on furniture where you'll be able to more than compete. We have to protect our businesses. Same thing with you in the utensil business. Your stuff is so beautiful, but it's very tough when you're competing against something that is cheap and, because of the lack of protection that you've been given, it just puts you out of business. So you actually said thank you for the tariffs, but the tariffs really aren't high enough, in my opinion, in that particular thing. But with the furniture, we're going to bring all the furniture back to North Carolina, and you're going to see it'll be as robust as it was 25, 30 years ago. The greatest furniture people in the world, and they got stolen. They really didn't take them. They found people in China that could do it, and all those people got put out of jobs, and their kids have that same ability. And you watch what happens, how good it is in North Carolina, because I've had to go through a process to get that approved, but now it's approved, and you're going to be, again, the furniture capital of the world because nobody can do that quality. And I know the quality. I buy a lot of things from China, and because I was forced to. When I was in the hotel business, I was forced to buy from China because of pricing and for other reasons. What I wasn't getting was the kind of quality that we were getting here. And now you'll have a combination of both. So you can let that be known. I don't know if that's breaking news or not for these people, but to me, it's very important. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and now we have it pretty well ready. And we love North Carolina. My administration is also committed to ensuring that American small businesses have access to the credit and capital that they need under Administrator Loeffler, who's phenomenal. She is phenomenal. And she's got a great husband, Jeff, and he's a friend of mine, and he's a very successful man, and he's a great man, and he's got a great wife, and I was so happy getting her in this position. She replaced a woman who is a very legendary woman, Linda McMahon, who's now in education. She's doing a great job. She's moving education back to the States where it belongs, and Kelly is doing great. But last year, Kelly, our Small Business Administration issued $7 billion in loans to 11,000 new startups, as well as $1.3 billion in loans to 3,000 veteran-owned small businesses, and $3.2 billion. Yeah, big business, That's why I say, how can we call it small business? $3.2 billion to American manufacturers, helping restore those beautiful words, made in the USA, where we're using them more and more. We have things being made here that nobody thought it was even possible for it to come back. Like you'll see in North Carolina with the furniture. It'll come back very, very rapidly. So, Kelly, I'd like to ask you to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, you are the most pro-growth, pro-small business president in American history. Thank you. It's such an honor to join you here at the White House to recognize National Small Business Week, and you're the greatest commander-in-chief ever, but also one of America's greatest businessmen, and small businesses know that. They see that this administration is shifting power and capital from fraudsters and Washington bureaucrats back to Main Street job creators, just like we have gathered in this room today. Fair trade, deregulation, and the working family tax cuts in the One Big Beautiful Bill, they are powering real opportunity that I see all over as I travel this country, especially after 4 crushing years of Bidenomics and decades of shipping our jobs and our industries overseas, hollowing out our local communities. That is ending. As I travel the country each week, and Mr. President, I've traveled with you from Iowa's Machine Shed restaurant to Georgia's Coosa Steel factory. America First policies are restoring the American dream on Main Street to new heights. At generational businesses like Jimmy's Famous Seafood, at industrial innovators like Prince Manufacturing in Georgia and Blue Patriot in Nebraska, who are building big, beautiful new buildings thanks to the working family tax cuts. Today, 98% of U.S. manufacturers are small businesses. They're a critical part of securing our supply chains, and while they contribute to national strength across all kinds of industries, from energy to agriculture to defense and aerospace, America's big manufacturers rely on these producers and their skilled workers. And that's why President Trump's economic agenda means Made in America is coming back, and it's coming back fast. Now, at the Trump SBA, we're helping to fuel that growth. As the most free enterprise agency in the federal government, in 2025 alone, we guaranteed a record $45 billion in lending to 85,000 small businesses through local banks. That's an all-time record at the SBA, and we did it with 53% fewer staff at the agency. That capital is driving the job creation that you see. Record small business formation. This year, record small business formation and growth in communities all across America. It's such an honor to highlight the award winners that are here today and the vital role of hardworking small businesses that do their jobs every single day. They are America's backbone. From our farms and restaurants to our construction companies and our manufacturers and our trucking companies. Thank you, Mr. President, for recognizing that small business is big business. 250 years ago, our founding fathers were also entrepreneurs, small businessmen. With the America First agenda, that legacy continues. America is open for business again. Thank you, Mr. President.
That's a great job. I just want to sort of end by, I'll give you a little common sense business. So a lot of you run your business for a couple of reasons: talent, brilliance in many cases, but also common sense. And I'll give you just one little anecdote. We have a beautiful, potentially beautiful, built in 1922, it's a long time ago, reflecting pond in between the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial. It's 2,500 feet long. That's taller than, I think, any building in the world. That would be if you lay it sideways. It's 2 Empire State Buildings, more than that. And very wide, 167 feet. And for years, they've wanted to fix it, rebuild it. It's granite. The stone is good. Granite's great. But it was leaking because it's little pieces of granite. Very, very expensive when they did it, but it always leaked from the day they built it. In 1922, and it leaked badly, and they've looked at fixing it for decades, really fixing it, and it wasn't working. It was too expensive, and the final price we got fairly recently was to fix it as $350 million because they were going to take the granite out and they were going to replace it with new granite, new stone, tighter joints, all that. It was going to take 3.5 years, and I heard about it, and I called Doug Burgum, and I said, Doug, what do you think? I built a lot of swimming pools, hundreds of swimming pools in different jobs. I said, let me look at that surface. So it's granite, so granite is virtually indestructible, but it was filthy dirty. It started because I called, because it was so dirty, it was disgusting. People called me and they'd say, you know, it's a shame. I'm looking at the Washington Monument and this thing is terrible. The water is dirty. There's cartons of stuff in it and everything is just so horrible. And I said, wow, that's terrible. We can't have that. I actually had Secret Service. I said, drive over there. I want to see it. Sir, we won't be able to. I said, just do it. And when it was terrible, I looked at it, terrible. So think of that. So it's going to cost $350 million. Because we're going to take the granite out, put new granite, and think, you know, consider it like as tall as the tallest building in the world, if not taller, and laying on its side. And I said, wow, that's terrible. $350 million. It's going to take 3.5 years. 3.5 years it'll be, and you know 3.5 years means 5 years. $350 million means $500 million to fix a thing. And I said, you know, I built all these swimming pools, and they're phenomenal. They're 20 years. I have one up the road where it's a great club on the Potomac River, and I bought it, I bet 21 years ago, and I built a beautiful Olympic-sized pool. And I asked the other day, I said, how good is the pool? Oh, it's beautiful, sir. I looked at it, it looks like it's brand new, it was done 20 years ago. So I have some very good contractors, some good, one or two in particular. And I sent the three best. I said, do me a favor, fellas. Go take a look at the reflecting pool that sits in between Lincoln and Washington, the beautiful, what should be beautiful reflecting pool. And one of them who came back, who's really, I would say the best, but they're all good. He came back, he said, what an exciting job, sir. I said, so how long would it take you to redo it? He said, well, we have to fix the surface a little bit, create something good and solid underneath. That'll take about a week. And let's say it'll take me to put the new material. Now, the swimming pool is good, but he said, sir, I'd get commercial grade. What is that? He said, that's much stronger, much heavier, meant for commercial. It actually looks better. It's more expensive, sir. I said, that's okay. I said, how much will it cost? I think we can do it for about $1.9 million. So he said, what color would you like, sir? And I said, well, you know that beautiful color that we have in Florida? He said, this is in Florida, sir. We don't have that green-blue around here. We have blue water. But he gave me a choice of 50 colors. Now I'm going crazy. I'm saying, now think of it. If we put the granite, you know what your color is? It was gray. It was gray. Not a good-looking color. So even if you did it, it's not good. So he said, we'll do a beautiful job. I think that I'd like to recommend a color that I've used before. It's beautiful. What's it called? It's called American Flag Blue. I said, that's the color I want. Because how can you have it better, right? I said, how can you have a better color than American flag? We had a gray, disgusting, dirty. It showed all the dirt. It showed all the everything. So we finished it about 2-3 days ago. They ripped the hell, you know, they roughened this surface. They left everything there. The demolition would have cost $60 million to take the stone out and put new stone in. So we cleaned it, we steam cleaned it, we sandblasted it, we pebble blasted. You know what pebble blasting, that's a serious sandblast. That's really, because it's granite, it's so strong. We roughened the stone so it's a good surface, got it immaculate, and it's beautiful. But it still has the lines in between it. You're going to have leaks all over the place. And we filled in some areas. And the work started a few days ago. And I wanted to go today. I said, let me see these small business people. And then I want to go over and see the contractors to see how they're doing. But Secret Service was not thrilled. They were not thrilled at me standing in the middle of a pool with lots of buildings looking down. You know, we have to be a little conscious of that, right? Chris, you'll have a new boss someday. And I don't know if you'd like that. So here's the story, just in a nutshell. for a much better job. 1.9 million, 1 week. Because I don't call the, actually the Parks Department did a great job. They cleaned, they had a lot of men cleaning, they're scrubbing the scum off years and years of decay and bacteria and everything else you can think. It was terrible, actually. It was worse than the people would tell me. They say how bad it looked. It was much worse. The Parks Department did a fantastic job. They got it down to the surface, and these guys came in and made the surface really, really good. And now the fun starts, and they're putting it down. So, ready? 1.9 million versus $350 million. Right? Common sense. Common sense. A great, beautiful blue color, American flag blue, as opposed to gray. Right? What is not gray? But it's one of those things. And instead of 3.5 years, it's 1 week. So think of that. 1 week. So everybody say, well, yeah, but you can't compare this. Yeah, you can't. It's much better. It's a much better job. This will last for at least 50 years, and you'll never have a leak. It's very strong. You couldn't, if you had a knife, I don't want to give anybody ideas. If you had a knife, you can't even cut it. So strong, so powerful. It's like powerful rubber. It is beautiful, sealed. And I looked at just one of the little pieces that they did to finish. It's like a piece of glass. Beautiful color, beautiful everything. You could never get anything like that. And just think of it. So for a tiny fraction of the cost and a tiny fraction of the time, we end up with the most beautiful thing that you'll ever see. And I look so forward to that opening up. And it's sort of a business thing. It's a common sense thing. First thing I thought of when I heard $350 million, because I'm the one that said, let's get it done. But they had done studies for years because they wanted to get it done. Never got done. Probably so expensive they couldn't afford to do it, really. But there's a thing, common sense, right? Swimming pool. I said, well, swimming pool looks so beautiful. Wouldn't that be nice? So for a tiny fraction of the time, a tiny fraction of the cost, we end up with a much better product. And this is what you people do with small businesses all the time. It's what Kelly does in running this. She comes to me a lot of times with ideas for less money. It's a better job. So I thought I'd tell you that because this just happened. This just happened. If you go down, if you'd like to see them doing it, on your way back home, take a trip down to the reflecting pond, or they call it the reflecting pool. Some people call it the reflecting lake, but the word reflecting is always a part of it. They call it different things, but reflecting is always a part. Last but not least, we have someone who is helping us lead the revival in American manufacturing, this year's National Small Business Person of the Year. I want to hire him. How big is this business? I want to get him. Mark LaMancha, and he's a fantastic guy, and he's the owner of Hometown Products, a metal casting and 3D printing company near Youngstown, Ohio. I hear it's amazing what he's done. In 2008, the company was nearing bankruptcy. It looked like it couldn't be saved, but that's when Mark patented a system to boost productivity at the company by more than 400%. Mark would like to use you in government. How would you? If you could use that system in government, that would be very nice. He transformed Hometown into a pioneer in 3D printing, and he's leading everybody. And today, they're North America's leading producer of 3D printed sand cores and molds, which is a big business. And Mark, we're here to honor you today, and if you could come up, we're going to give you a little something. Come on up. Hey, Mark. I want to get one of them for myself. I'll honor myself. That's very nice. Would you like to say a few words?
Mr. President and Administrator Loeffler, I would like to thank you for the opportunity and the privilege to represent the 36 million small business people, to be an ambassador for the largest part of our economy. And I would like to thank you from the Hometown Products Industrial Athletes team that I have the privilege of serving every day as their head coach. But even more, I would like to thank you, Mr. President, for restarting and rebooting our economy. And manufacturing used to be 38% of our economy, and it's down to 9%. And I know that you love America, and I know that you want to restart that. You know, in the last 3 months, the PMI index has gone up 3 months in a row because of that restart. We have 10% increase in hiring, and we'll be able to buy more of those $1 million printers that we're able to print the fight, fight, fight Trump statue that was in Butler with Corey. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for loving America. And, you know, manufacturing is my favorite sport, so let's make America manufacture again.
That's good. That's a great job, and I heard it's a great company. You've done a fantastic job with it. Thank you very much. And you're right. We lost our manufacturing business, and I used to listen to President Obama say, "You'll never get manufacturing back. It's the biggest business in the world if you get it back." And we're heading to that. I think we'll be higher than at any time fairly soon. When these places open, I think we'll be higher than at any time in the history of our country. And we used to be a manufacturing capital. We were the manufacturing capital of the world, and then it got taken away. The chips went to Taiwan, and all they had to do is say, if you sell your product back into the country, there's going to be 100% tariff, and nobody would have left. And, you know, I made a investment, Intel, chip maker, the biggest in the world, and then it got taken away because of bad politics, actually, because of politicians, the presidents. No president protected that industry. So all of a sudden you have this superpower over in Taiwan, but they're coming back. As you know, we have the biggest companies they're pouring into this country. They know that the tariffs go to a certain extent, and then they go up, up, up as we go. But I will say that it's so sad to see what's happened, but it makes me so happy to say we're bringing it back. And as sure as you're sitting there, I mean, these are companies that are fully committed. There are many under construction. They're on their way. And when I look at what happened to our country, I used to make speeches as a private person. I always loved politics, but I never thought I'd be doing this. But as a private person doing well, I used to just marvel at the fact that the car companies were leaving Detroit and leaving our country at levels that were just, I mean, I say, you're not going to have any cars soon if you don't do something. And all they had to do is say, you can leave our country, you can have lots of fun building your cars, but if you think you're going to sell it back into our country for no cost, you're wrong. But nobody said that. Not one president, even presidents I liked, but they were bad on trade. You've never had a good president on trade, and now you do, and we're bringing them back at levels never seen before. So we're going to have something. And as far as small business is concerned, you are really the driver. I love that story because that's the kind of story that half of the people, I'm not sure about all of them, I'm not sure about Rick, but most of the people in this room would have thought of that. They would have said, well, what about surfacing that stone, that existing stone? But it's just, you know, one example. It's such a great one because it's massive amounts of money and time and a disaster of construction for years. They'll be building and building and building, a mess. What common sense is all about. And you people more than anything, I know you all indirectly. If I don't know you, I still know you. But the fact is, it's common sense. And if you didn't have common sense, you would not have a good business, and you wouldn't have a good small business, big business, or any other business. So I just want to congratulate Mark. I want to congratulate. It's a great tribute, really. You've done an amazing job. But I want to congratulate everybody in the room. You're fantastic people. And we are really, this is the golden age of America. I really believe it. Last year, we were scoffed at. I tell the story often that the king of Saudi Arabia, a year and a half ago when I was over there, he said, you know, America was a dead country. We didn't think it would be investing. We didn't think it would be appropriate to invest there. We were a dead country. And now, President, you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. That was 7 or 8 months ago. We're a lot hotter than we were then. We had to do this little excursion, but the excursion is, the stock market's higher now than it was when I assumed the market would be down 25%, and that was worth it to get rid of lunatics that would have nuclear weapons that can wipe out countries with the push of a button. You can't do that. So I had to do it because it should have been done 47 years. It should have been done by many presidents or other countries. It should have been done a long time ago, but we're doing it, and we have no choice, and I'm very proud to be doing it. But the amazing thing, I thought would be down 20, 25%. I thought the market would be down. The market's at new highs despite all of it. And so the market is genius, and they see what's happening, and they get it. But I just want to say it's an honor to be with you, and keep going. Small businesses, some of your small businesses like yours are going to be large businesses very soon. And it's an honor to be with you, and Kelly and Chris and all of the people that work with me. What a great job you do. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, did Iran violate the ceasefire? Did Iran violate the ceasefire?
Do you think the ceasefire will hold?
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so that was today's event. Just wanted to let you know what. Actually, let SV say it. SV, what's going on with the shooter at the White House? What's going on? Is he leaking?
He was detained after being shot. He is apparently recovering in the George Washington University Hospital. No update onto why or his name or anything like that. So hopefully more details will come out, updating us all. But yeah, it was a shooting by the Washington Monument. So it caused the lockdown at the White House. More crazies out there. They're everywhere. Keep your head in a swivel.
As soon as you texted me, I was looking at the screen. I'm like, are they going to run out and bring him off stage? I fully, because I got your text. I hadn't seen it online yet, and I'm like, they're going to run out and grab him, aren't they? But I guess they felt he was quite secure there. So, woo,
yeah,
geez, man, they're crazy. They are absolutely crazy. I don't know what they're going to do.
Remember, I've said it. How many times have I said it to you? All they have left is violence. That's all they got left, right?
I mean, I've seen Hakeem Jeffries and Pocahontas talking about gas prices and let me show you how crazy these people are. It's Monday afternoon, Monday at 5 o'clock, right? Most of us are doing something unless we're retired, we're working. This is what they're doing. Hold on. Let me hit the volume on this thing. But they're protesting yet again.
I also want to show love to our good friends over at the League of Voters of Women at Alabama. I kind of remixed that a little bit. Y'all say hello to Kim. Just say hello real quick.
Hello, everyone. Don't get discouraged.
Volume. Can't hear you.
I just turned it on. They protest 7 days a week. It's like they always have.
Don't they have jobs? Come on, man.
I think this is I think this is their job. I think their job is to go and just protest. It's going to get worse because now that school's out, many of them are teachers probably, so they're off for the whole summer, and they all can just go to protest 24/7. And
I don't know if I can handle that screeching from those white liberal women.
It's futile, absolutely futile, because today's protest du jour is about Alabama is getting ready to do their redistricting, and now all of a sudden redistricting is bad. It was okay when you were doing it. And I'm watching them, and they're out there, and it's so embarrassing to me because it literally is minstrel. It is Al Jolson all over again. It's just black people out there just shucking and jiving, knowing it's a. I'm going to tell you tonight. I already have a show in the can, so I'll tell you tonight. But here, listen to him.
I do have some. I have some good news here. It was reported by Eric Doherty earlier. Official. It was a Harvard-Harris poll. Have you heard that one? Okay, so if you're going to cover it. Okay. A whopping 74% of Americans believe President Trump and the United States are winning against Iran. A pathetic 40% of Democrats side with Iran, of course, saying they're winning, while 70% of independents and 91% of Republicans say the U.S. is winning.
Unreal. I believe it. I definitely believe it. These people are just crazy. You know, it's funny. While President Trump was talking, of course, Fox cut away. And when they cut away, they were doing a montage at the Kentucky Derby. And I look up and I'm like, Gretchen Whitmer was at the Kentucky Derby with a giant hat all jazzed up. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought it's white privilege. What are you doing there?
Well, she was enjoying prosperity? Wait, what?
Straight up at the Kentucky Derby. Wow.
Yeah, they don't like to be caught enjoying prosperity because it breaks their narrative, right?
Absolutely. All right. So
onward.
I want to finish with this. We've already been here for 2.5 hours. Let me finish with this Harris Faulkner panel because it's very interesting. I think we only got like 4 minutes left, so let's jump back into that.
Comfortable with how far left your party's going?
I am comfortable with how far left we're willing to go to help working class people. I'm not comfortable with a lot of what you've just described, where we're attacking people's spouses and children and, religious views and these sorts of things. I don't think there's any room for that in politics. We should stay focused on policy.
I wish I could get on set at one of these events because the Democrats put out these nice flowery statements and nobody ever asked them, can you please define working class? I would think anybody with a job is a working class, but that's not what they mean. Now, that's not what they mean in their socialist little covens that they hang out in. What they need to say is the truth. Poor people, that's all you care about. You're willing to rape the entire country to make sure that illegals and other people get what they need, even though you're not contributing. So please define what working class is. I'm working class. SV is working class. Every one of you is working class. People on Fox is working class. People play for the Los Angeles Lakers, working class. See, it means absolutely nothing. Fair share. Elizabeth Warren's complaining today that Jeff Bezos, if he had $10 million to sponsor the Met Gala tonight, then he is not paying his fair share. What's fair share? They've twisted language so badly because it only suits them to put out their bumper sticker statements. And then guys like this just repeat it. Working class. Are you in a working class? Is Harris Faulkner in a working class? Define working class.
Focused on fixing things, and we should stay focused on a role for government in making people's lives better.
Dominic.
This whole conversation is such a breath of fresh air because, as you know, I'm an independent, and my biggest problem with politics in America in general is I feel both sides are taking more extreme views each election, and we have several people on this panel, Democrats including, specifically telling you, no, I'm a moderate, right? And I feel like things are becoming more centered, where it's not as extreme anymore. Yeah, there's no question. Listen, Trump has some wins and losses so far. I think for me, you know, two of the wins might be immigration and maybe Homeland Security. But a big loss for him is the economy and inflation and the cost of living, which has been a common theme here across Republicans and Democrats.
So you notice what you're watching. You are watching politically homeless people who can't make the leap to MAGA. They are never going to find what they want on the left because the left is gone. But they can't accept being a Trump voter because I don't like him. But every single one of these people, none of them thus far are blue-haired, crazy people with the Palestinian, you know, river to this. These are actual people. And I think what we're seeing here, I guess what we're gleaning is that there's a whole lot of people who are politically homeless. And if this is who the people are polling in some of these pollsters, they're never going to get a true indication because at some point, people are going to have to hold their nose. And you tell me from what you hear thus far, you heard some of it earlier, where are they going to vote? For their own self-interest, they don't have a choice. They're homeless.
Cost of living is just too expensive. It's just too expensive to live, and everyone here is feeling it. And I think that's where, in the midterms, I think the independents are going to control this election. And I think that, yes, Trump might lose some Republican voters, but I think some of the Democrats are still too liberal, and then that's going to determine where we're going to go.
So that's fascinating. So if you go too far to the left, socialism, even tipping into communism as they open up free grocery stores, that costs $30 million apiece. Well, you're still paying for it.
Yeah.
It's an expensive place to live on either coast, but it's expensive no matter where you are because you've got the American dream and you want that to come true. So I get that.
Yeah.
Powerful.
So tell me, after you heard it, if you didn't hear that at the beginning, go ahead and rewind. Tell me how we're losing. They want certain things, and you have to agree with this. They want certain things that only President Trump and the Republicans that can deliver. There is no ability for the leftards to deliver what the ordinary person wants. You might hate Trump, you might disgust MAGA, but you know, because of your political homelessness, there's nothing over there for you. Nothing on the left. And so now, you know, we can't lose. I'm telling you that right now. We can't lose. Barry, you're being overconfident. And I'm listening to people. These people just have to get used to the fact of, I guess it's got to be Trump. Because every single one of them that spoke are never going to get what they want from Democrats. And so what's going to happen at this point is, as the war ends, as the economy begins to shift, remember, Trump's not going anywhere. They can scream and bitch and moan all they want right now on X. They can cry about gas prices. They can cry about immigration. It's not going to change for them. The only thing that's going to change is that train that he is driving right through the heart of Democrats. Right now, there's a speed bump because of Iran. But as soon as, and I listen to Scott Bassett, as soon as that speed bump is overcome and people realize, well, gas prices did drop. It was a interim situation. And now we're going to go here and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Because he's not stopping because of, adverse feelings right now. But at the same token, as you're watching the lay of the land, you have to look at and say, the other people got nothing. There's nothing that they can do between now and November to change anybody's mind. It's all on Trump to grab that big pile of people who are just waffling. Democrats can't offer them anything. I hope you see that. At this point, there's people who are like, it's too much, that's expensive, but they're not going to get it from there. They already know it. They are predisposed to knowing it. They're calling themselves independent because they don't like him and they don't like what the situation is right now. But they're not going to the libtards. They would rather stay home. So right now, as I look at it, we got 5 months from now until October to get stuff together. So where these people, that big swath of people in the middle, like, I gotta vote for Trump. I gotta vote for the midterms. I don't have any choice. These people are bat poop crazy. They want to take everything I got. They want to just flood the cities with newcomers. They want to do all the stuff I don't want. I just want this fixed. You see, people are intrinsically selfish. That's one of the problems the Democrats are having. Yeah, I'd like to see some of these drug addicts and homeless people taken care of, but I got to take care of my family first, which is what you should be doing. So the psychology of what you're going to be seeing over the next couple months is pretty simple. How do you make people feel more comfortable economically? Who is more apt? Who is more likely to show people comfortability financially? Not these nuts. You see, these people that you just watched, they don't want handouts. Notice not one said, well, I wish they'd give me free food and I wish I had SNAP benefits and say, no. I just want to take care of my family. Democrats want to make, just hand it out. They don't want you to prosper. Every one of these people, they want to make it. They want more. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more. Now we just got to get it for them. We got to get out the way. The war is over. Things are happening. Oil is being processed. The gas prices are down. What's next? Well, we got to do something about housing. Well, how about this? How about Jerome Powell get out the hell out, and then later this month, Kevin Warsh gets in and drops interest rates. You think that makes people feel a little bit more comfortable? Yeah. The Democrats have no answers. And I'm going to keep trying to show you they got no answers. Racism and gas prices are not going to change the electorate come November. They're done. They just don't know they're dead. They're walking zombies. And I am so over trolls and everything else. I got a zero tolerance for them. I don't care. If you get mad, you don't like it, you think we're, I don't know, what's the word, selling out. Yeah, let me just let you know, I am 100% selling out. I am buying property. I am selling out for America. I want to make sure America survives. I want to make sure my family thrives. I want to get as many toys as possible. And I don't see there's anything wrong with that for me or for you. Get your toys. Live your best life. Understand it's not coming from the Democrats. The people who troll and the people who complain on X and the people who listen to the Democrats, they've already given up. They've already waved the white flag. I cannot be a productive member of society. I need government to take care of me. The warmth of collectivism, I can't do it. None of those people were that person. That should basically enthuse you, because the only people they have are leeches, and that's it. That's who they need to vote for. So, SV, you got anything else before I get out of here?
No, that's it. I'm sure there'll be more tonight. You're gonna be on tonight?
It's 5:15 now. I'm gonna try, but I won't know until I post it. I've been going late lately, but I'm not. Let's play it by ear. I want to get to a set. I want to get to a set schedule. But President Trump, he went late today. I mean, the guy talked forever today. I mean, he just went on and on.
That's the usual.
Yeah,
I love
as
it.
usual.
He was weaving and wobbling. I love it.
You know,
The
it's funny.
weave.
When I woke up this morning, I didn't see anything on the schedule. I'm like, this is going to be easy. I'm going to do a 1 o'clock day show and a 7 o'clock night show. I'm good. And then he says he's coming on at 3. And I'm like, I'm in the middle here. By the time we do super chats and after party, I'm not getting out of here until 6. So
Yeah, that's true.
let's just call it. No show tonight.
Yeah.
I may post a
All right.
video, but no show tonight. Let's see if we can get back on schedule tomorrow. So I'm going to try and hit 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock tomorrow. But again, you'll know when at 10 o'clock he posts his schedule. And I wonder, here's a question for you. Tuesday and Thursdays are usually the days she does press conference. You think he's going to do the press conference tomorrow? That would be kind of wild.
I hope so. That would be awesome. Cue the meltdowns.
And we do know there's an 8 o'clock press conference with Pete Hegseth, so I'll go ahead and clip that so we have it at 1 o'clock. And I do have Kevin Demerit from Lear Capital. We have an interview from him tomorrow, and I've got an interview with Ross Givens from Insider Trading. So I got a bunch of stuff tomorrow. Let's just figure out what Trump's going to do, and we'll be good. I mean,
all right. Well, have a great night. See you all,
people have asked me, why do I keep waffling with it? Is I started this channel not to just be a pundit. I wanted to follow Trump. And so my schedule, here we are years later, I have to see what his schedule is. And it's what people want. So give people what they want.
I started watching you a year ago, and look where I'm at. See?
And your hat is coming. By the way, I want you to know I boxed up the hat. The hat is coming. I finally got a bunch of stuff out. Had to do it.
All right, about time.
All right, man. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, bye.
All right, see you.
All right, everybody. Let me go ahead and do super chats. I can't believe we had enough. SB keeps telling me, it's like, man, we have the shortest shows online. They all go like 3-4 hours. And I'm like, it's not my fault. He keeps talking and I keep talking. So it just goes nuts with that. I don't even know if I could do an hour show anymore. I think if I did an hour show, people would text me or ask me and go, what's wrong? That's it. That's it. I'm good today. But maybe if we start doing 1 hour evening shows, we'll see. All right, let's look at super chats here. Okay. Geosop, my friend, after this, Iran has a future in fiction novels. I love that. Pekoski, speechless. That's good too. Geosop again, Grand Theft Auto Democrat Edition. Jessica, thank you, Barry. Thank you. Not financial advice in my research. My husband and I finally invested in silver, cashed in underperforming CDs. Awesome. Like I said, Kevin Demerit will be here tomorrow from Lear Capital. Geosop, when my wife bought her Maserati, people showed up and were taking pictures with it outside. Later found out they were claiming it was theirs. Taking the selfies and stuff next to the Maserati. Yeah, I hear you. Lots of social media fake millionaires. Buddy, his tattoo stands for SS guards at the camps. He's talking about the Nazi, who the Democrats are now wrapping their arms around. Complete desperation. Mr. Pugs, Margaret Thatcher said it best, the problem with socialism that you eventually run out of other people's money. Bingo. Hey, I Phelps, thank you. Jerome, Barry, can I get a fanfare hat? All right. You know what? I meant to tell you guys, here's what I'm going to do also, and something I got to tell SB. I'm going to create emails, and these emails are going to be, I'll probably get it done tonight, banned at fanfareshop.org. And then because people say I got banned or I got put in timeout or whatever, I don't have time to go through all the emails, but if I'll create an email that people can send in a form. I'll need your name, I need your screen name, and then you submit the form, and then we can see who's been banned. And I'll do the same thing for more people who would like a hat. Yes, I will get some hats out to you. Geosop, get those, what's it say? Get those disenfranchised Dems in our camp. Exactly. That's where you guys come in. Yep. Must vote, got to get them to vote for Republicans. Exactly. They're all sitting there. It's like going to a dance and there's a whole bunch of, pretty girls and with no dates, and they're getting disillusioned because nobody's asking them out. So even, Anybody, just ask them out. I know you might hate that analogy, but yeah, it's true. They're just sitting there waiting, man, just waiting. And they're lurkers. They may not sit there and converse with you on X, but they're looking for people to talk to. Maybe we need to start a Democrat reach out or Democrat meetup or something and talk to people who are not crazy, but just Democrats. All right. In any event, I will see you guys tomorrow.
Conversation. It is great to have all of you. I hope you all come back.
you.